Before we step into the flowing currents of this book, take a moment to notice the river already moving inside you, the quiet undercurrent of life that carries every thought, feeling, and experience. This book is not a map to some distant destination, but an invitation to remember the natural flow that has always been present beneath the surface. What follows is a gentle unfolding, a series of reflections, stories, and teachings designed to help you release the illusion of control and separation, and to awaken to the timeless dance of surrender, presence, and unity. Here, you will not find answers as much as you will find an encouragement to listen, to yourself, to life, and to the subtle wisdom of the currents that shape existence. As you read, may you trust the process, relax into the stream of awareness, and remember that the true journey is not about getting somewhere, but about rediscovering what has never been lost. Introduction. The joke of control. The illusion that we're in charge. Picture the scene. You wake up, mentally scripting your day, every meeting, every moment, neatly lined up in your calendar like chess pieces awaiting your next move. It feels reassuring to imagine life as a game where you're always the strategist, holding the reins. This belief, that sheer willpower and careful planning can shape destiny, whispers comfort in uncertain times. Yet, there's a cosmic humor at play. Just as you're certain the universe will cooperate, surprises tumble in. Missed trains. Sudden storms. The kind of events that slip entirely through your fingers yet animate the very story you're living. We're drawn to this illusion of control because it promises safety, predictability, and, if we're lucky, success. The mind believes that with just enough effort, another to-do list, another precaution, the future will bow obediently to our desires. But look closer, there's a toll behind the curtains. As we chase certainty, anxiety creeps in, shadowed by fear of failure. Should plans go awry, joy and curiosity are replaced with the weight of self-disappointment, and our days become choreographed routines instead of spontaneous dances with life. What if the ultimate liberation is not found in ever tighter control, but in gentle surrender? Letting go doesn't mean drifting aimlessly or giving up. It means moving with life as an ally, trusting both the fierce torrents and the tranquil pools. To surrender isn't to abandon responsibility. It's a shift in posture, from tightrope walker to river swimmer, releasing the burden of perfection. Start small. Mindfulness is the gateway. Simple daily rituals like breathing deeply or sitting silently, observing the passing parade of thoughts without clutching at them. Notice the urge to resist, and pause. Can you allow yourself to loosen your grip just a little and see what emerges? Life, after all, isn't a fixed itinerary. It's a flowing stream of moments and change, full of unexpected beauty for those willing to let go, listen, and trust the current's wisdom. How trying to let go is just another form of holding on. Letting go sounds simple, even freeing, like dropping a heavy load. But often, what feels like surrender is just a clever disguise for control. When we say, "I'm trying to release this," the very effort tightens our grip. Imagine clutching a rope with a heavy weight tied to it. The harder you try to drop it by squeezing tighter, the heavier and more immovable the burden becomes. Our minds work much the same way. Trying to let go can become a mental wrestling match. We monitor ourselves obsessively, measuring progress, dissecting each slip-up, each moment of resistance. This self-surveillance only fuels frustration, reinforcing the very hold we wish to break. Instead of allowing what we want to release to fall away naturally, we wage an internal battle that keeps us chained to the issue. In this struggle, the freedom we seek drifts farther from reach. We mistake effort for progress and resistance for movement. The desire to free ourselves ironically traps us deeper because true release occurs only when control is absent. When forced, letting go evaporates. When permitted, it arrives softly, like a gentle current guiding us downstream. Holding on often masquerades as protection, from pain, uncertainty, or loss. But it is the act of holding itself that binds us. It stops the flow of life, erecting a fixed tension that resists the natural waves of change moving through and around us. This resistance wears many masks, clinging to memories, relationships, beliefs, or disappointments. The more we fight the current, the more fragile and stagnant our emotions grow. Life flows in cycles and rhythms like seasons or ocean tides. Refusing to adapt or release is like trying to hold back the tide. It breaks the natural rhythm and traps us in repetitive, swirling thoughts. This resistance often disguises fear, the fear of the unknown, of vulnerability, of losing control. Yet, by clutching tightly, we unknowingly stall the growth and healing that come with openness and acceptance. The current of life carries us regardless of our struggle or surrender. Flowing with this current doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means adjusting to what is, rather than imposing our will on reality. Freedom lives in releasing resistance and moving with ease instead of against the tide. Through this surrender, space for new possibilities and unexpected beauty blooms. Remember, letting go isn't about forcing yourself to forget or reject what's important. It's about lightly shifting your grip, easing the tightness until holding becomes optional. When you feel caught in the struggle to let go, pause. Notice your tension. Then breathe deeply and invite softness into your body and mind. Release flows not from effort but from the gentle willingness to relax your hands and trust life's unfolding. Life is a river, ever moving, indifferent, yet profoundly intelligent. Imagine a river winding through a landscape, unhurried, unforced, flowing freely around stones, bending to the shape the earth carves out. It doesn't plan its journey, nor fret over the twists and turns. It simply moves, carried by the land beneath and the energy within. Life behaves the same way, sometimes calm and smooth, sometimes roaring and turbulent, always advancing in its own perfect timing. Observing a river's rhythm is one of the simplest ways to grasp life's natural flow. The urge to control every moment, to freeze time and hold outcomes, flies in the face of this unending motion. When we resist change or try to fix things rigidly, we add tension and frustration, much like trying to stop water from flowing. But a river teaches us a profound lesson. Surrender isn't giving up. It's an artful dance of trust, allowing the currents to carry us while we navigate the contours gracefully. Rivers are often called wise because they embody simplicity and adaptability. They neither overthink their course nor stop to debate every obstacle. They move forward with quiet confidence and ease. When we see ourselves as part of this intelligent flow, a deeper kind of guidance emerges, one that doesn't rely on control but on intuition and presence. Life, like a river, knows how to find the best path, even when the way isn't clear to our limited perspective. Letting go of the need to steer every moment lifts a heavy burden. With a lighter heart, we notice opportunities and respond with clarity. Just as a river shapes its path by yielding to the softness of its bends and the resistance of rocks, we learn patience and trust. Problems that once felt insurmountable begin to resolve naturally. What was difficult blends into the ongoing dance of becoming. This trust in life's subtle intelligence lays the foundation for peace, growth, and a quiet strength that holds us steady even in stormy waters. The more we float with the current, the more we witness that true wisdom lies in simplicity, beyond words, beyond force. As we stop trying to thrust our way forward, gentle ripples of direction surface, guiding us without demanding effort. The greatest power of a river is its ability to adapt and flow without knowing every step ahead. Practicing this in daily life means being fully present, watching closely what unfolds now, and trusting the path to emerge when we release the need to control. The paradox: why we fear surrender even though we're already part of the current. Life moves in a complex, beautiful dance that often escapes our immediate understanding. Yet our instinct is to grasp tightly, to clutch control as though it's a life raft in stormy seas. Like a child unwilling to release a beloved toy, we fear losing something precious. Ironically, this very clinging blinds us to the deeper wisdom in surrender, a force that can carry us with grace. We've all faced moments of resistance, holding on to jobs, relationships, plans, identities, afraid of the unknown. These struggles echo across history, the tension between wanting stability and facing inevitable change. Surrender isn't weakness, it is opening a window to new possibilities. When we relinquish our tight grip, we find the courage to flow with life, discovering fresh landscapes that were invisible before. Trusting life's current opens the door to ease. It's not blind faith, but a recognition that we belong to a larger whole, part of a mysterious tapestry we can only glimpse. Just as rivers flow to oceans unseen yet certain, we are guided toward destinations sometimes hidden from view. Releasing our obsession with control softens the struggle, making space for unexpected gifts and joy. Surrender transforms our relationship with life. It eases the strain of continual striving, revealing that the picture isn't built from isolated brushstrokes, but emerges when we relax and paint with open hands. In letting go, intuition sharpens, serving as a compass through life's fog. Trusting the flow invites us to peel back layers of fear and expectation, uncovering the authentic self and deep, lasting happiness. Reflect on times when surrender brought you surprising insight or joy. Notice how embracing change opened doors rather than closed them. Surrender creates a rich tapestry, weaving connections to others and enriching your self-understanding. When you trust the current, you move more lightly through challenges, uncovering the essence of who you truly are in this shared journey of life. Ending thought: you were never separate from the flow. You were just splashing loudly. We often carry a quiet but persistent belief that we stand apart from the world, as if perched alone on the bank of a vast river, desperately trying to control the current with bare hands. This illusion tricks us into thinking we can mold the flow to our will, treating life's natural course as a problem to be conquered or a force to be tamed. But the river moves with its own rhythm, direction, and purpose, none of which we command. The tighter we try to grip it, the more the water slips through our fingers, and in our struggle, isolation grows. That attempt to master the river, to quiet our own splash, to impose order amidst chaos, erects a false divide between ourselves and the current. Ironically, the more we strive to control every ripple, the louder our splashing becomes. We drown out the subtle voice of the river because we're so caught up forcing it to be something it's not. This demand for control makes us see ourselves as separate entities rather than integral parts of one living, moving whole. This separation is born of fear of the unknown, unpredictability, and losing our hold on certainty. What if, instead of battling the river, we leaned into it? What if we recognized that the current is not the enemy but a companion, a carrier whether we fight or yield? Flow isn't about control. It's about understanding, acceptance, and partnership. The river doesn't stop for rocks or roots. It wraps, bends, swells, but it never pauses. Like life, it carries us through shifting landscapes, seasons, and storms. When we surrender to this movement and choose to be part of the flow instead of battling it, a profound sense of belonging and wholeness emerges. Surrender isn't passivity or giving up, it's trust. Trust that the current has always carried us, even when we forgot to notice. Often, our loud splashing is just a call for recognition, a cry to be seen, heard, or safe. But beneath that noise lies a peaceful truth: you were never truly separate from the river. You moved with it, even if you didn't sense its rhythm or hear the melody beneath the surface. To trust the flow is to open your hand, to soften resistance, and let the water lift you. The strength of the river lies in its ability to carry, to connect, and to sustain us, even when the path ahead is unseen. When we soften into this truth, we begin to notice how many moments of our lives weren't about control but alignment. Times when things felt effortless, fresh, vibrant. Those were moments when you were flowing, when your actions harmonized with the river's course. The quiet currents of life always hum beneath the noise. The real challenge is to listen deeply and let that understanding infuse every movement we make. Next time you feel overwhelmed by the need to manage every outcome or steer each event, pause. Visualize yourself not as the river's master, but as part of the river itself. The river is vast and ancient, and you are one with its energy. Allow yourself to float freely. The calmer you become, the quieter your splash, the more clearly you'll sense the current that has been carrying you all along. Remember, sometimes the most potent thing you can do is simply let go and flow. Chapter 1: The Great Splash: How We Forgot We Were Water. The origin of the ego: how humans invented separation for survival, then mistook it for truth. Long ago, our ancestors lived in a world woven with constant danger and uncertainty. To survive, they needed sharp instincts and quick reactions. Out of this urgent necessity arose something profound: a sense of self, a voice from within that whispered, "I am here, this is mine, I must protect myself." This sense wasn't born from philosophy or reflection. It was a practical invention, a mental shortcut crafted by evolution to help keep them alive amid chaos. The mind's clever creation, the ego, served as a survival tool. It allowed early humans to distinguish themselves from threats, to decide swiftly between fight, flight, or freeze. Imagine sensing a predator nearby. The sharp eye who decides to run is a lifesaver. Over time, this sense of I deepened, creating strong boundaries between what belonged to me and what was other. This boundary wasn't only physical but emotional and psychological, a line between safe and unsafe, familiar and foreign, friend and foe. Such separations made survival manageable, providing clarity and focus in a dangerous world. But here's the twist. What began as a practical survival tactic became mistaken for ultimate truth. As humans grew accustomed to their individual identities, they started believing their ego wasn't a tool but the reality of their existence. Stories of separateness, uniqueness, and individuality wove themselves into the very fabric of our culture and consciousness. We came to see ourselves as isolated islands, battling a vast, indifferent universe rather than as waves in an interconnected ocean. This mistaken belief shaped everything: our fears, desires, conflicts, and our understanding of happiness. We sought security by reinforcing the ego's boundaries, chasing possessions, status, approval, anything to shore up that fragile I. Yet beneath the surface, many ancient traditions have pointed to a deeper truth, that our real self is not segmented or confined but boundless, connected, and timeless. The ego, they suggest, is a passing story, useful but ultimately limiting. Recognizing the ego as an invention opens the door to freedom. When you notice your mind spinning tales of separation, you can begin to see these as just that, stories created by thought, not unchangeable facts. This recognition loosens the ego's grip and invites spaciousness, where peace isn't something to be fought for but something to be seen through. The I that once felt solid becomes like a wave on the ocean's surface, real, yet inseparable from the greater whole beneath. Practically, this means cultivating awareness, watching when the mind conjures divisions, noticing the impulses that urge me versus them. In these moments, remind yourself that this is not your permanent nature, but a mental habit. With practice, the ego's voice softens, and a glimpse of your true, interconnected being begins to shine through. This is the beginning of healing, freedom, and a deeper way of being. The myth of me and my life. The idea of a separate self arises from a kind of collective forgetfulness. We tend to see ourselves as isolated, independent entities, standing apart from the world, as if floating alone. But this is an illusion, a mental mirage. Imagine a drop of water convinced it exists independently, unaware that it is part of a vast, boundless ocean. Our experiences, thoughts, and emotions reinforce this sense of separateness, yet it is merely a trick of perception. Clinging to this myth of me and my life shapes much of our stress and suffering. When we identify exclusively with our personal narrative, we become entangled in currents of self-protection, comparison, and fear. This attachment narrows our vision to a fragile ego, making us resist life's natural changes. Yet, like a river, life flows continuously, reshaping and adapting. The true beauty lies in embracing this impermanence and the deep interconnectedness underlying all things. To break free, mindfulness offers a healing path. By pausing and observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment, we begin to dissolve the myth of separateness. Mindfulness invites us to see ourselves as part of the ever-flowing river of life, where boundaries fade and connection deepens. This gentle awareness opens the door to peace and insight previously hidden beneath layers of illusion. Childhood, when floating was natural. In childhood, many of us experienced floating not as a skill but as a natural way of being. Whether drifting in a pool, lying back in a quiet lake, or being held in the warm arms of a parent, we surrendered effortlessly to the gentle support of water. This wasn't learned, it was alive within us, a state of ease and trust in the body and environment. Our muscles relaxed, breath flowed naturally, and we became weightless, as if sharing a secret with the water itself. This floating was more than physical, it was a profound connection to self and surroundings. Without adult worries, we allowed ourselves full presence. The water was a sanctuary where boundaries between body and world blurred, and the need to fight or resist melted away. Children floated with wonder, eyes half closed, listening to the muted sounds beneath the surface, enchanted by the mystery and safety held within that embrace. Yet, as we grow, this innocence often drifts away. Societal expectations teach us to control, achieve, and resist the effortless trust we once knew. Water becomes a place requiring skill and caution, and the natural ease of floating turns into a challenge. This subtle disconnection mirrors how we lose touch with simple joys and surrender, replaced by endless striving and vigilance. Relearning to float means welcoming back that childhood sense of ease and wonder. It invites us to soften the grip of fear and control, listen deeply to our bodies and the water, and remember that surrender is a path to balance and peace. Floating becomes a meditation, weightless freedom beyond gravity or obligation, and a reminder of our innate trust in life's rhythm. Try to recall moments when floating felt effortless. Hold on to that sensation as you approach the water now. Let yourself relax, breathe, and trust the subtle support around you. Remember, floating isn't about doing, it's about being. This practice reconnects you to the quiet wisdom of your body and the gentle, forgotten art of letting go. Society's conditioning: swim harder, achieve faster, outperform the river itself. From early childhood, we absorb a powerful message: effort equals success. We're urged to push harder, do more, and constantly improve, as if the goal is to outpace the very current of life itself. This mindset casts the river's gentle flow as an adversary, something to be battled and controlled. We come to believe that by swimming faster, lifting heavier, and racing harder, we'll master the water, conquer circumstances, and prove our strength through relentless striving. This drive is deeply embedded in our culture. It starts in schoolrooms and playgrounds, reinforced by competitive sports, careers, and social status. Achievement becomes a badge of honor: win the race, beat the clock, exceed every expectation. We adopt invisible standards, convincing ourselves that growth demands continuous, intense effort. Gradually, effort evolves into identity. Who we are is defined by how hard we push, what we accomplish, how much we do. But beneath this race lies a hidden paradox. This mindset treats life like a competition to dominate, ignoring the wisdom of the river's quiet strength. A river doesn't fight its current. It flows, adapts, and moves without resistance. It doesn't battle the water, it dances with it. Yet society insists that surrender means weakness and that control is the only path to power. The truth is often the opposite. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in yielding, moving with what is, rather than forcing what isn't. Too often, we forget that the river's power comes from riding the currents gracefully, not fighting them. Life's dance is made of waves, ebbs, and flows, not a straight sprint powered by brute force. The pressure to outpace this flow disconnects us from our natural rhythms. Instead of moving in harmony, we push against the tide, hoping sheer can redirect the stream. This struggle breeds exhaustion and frustration, a feeling that no matter how fast we swim, the river eludes control. Recognizing the fallacy of relentless control brings freedom. When we see that effort alone can't shape reality fully, we embrace surrender, not giving up, but trusting the river's guidance. Flowing with the current rather than resisting it reveals a fresh, potent kind of power. Letting go of the urge to outperform reveals that the current can carry us farther and faster than any force we muster. This surrender invites patience. Instead of racing toward a distant shore, we learn to float, follow the current, and trust its wisdom. It's a subtle but transformative shift, from control to cooperation. Life's currents aren't enemies to beat but rhythms to sync with. When we stop fighting, we find unexpected freedom. Success isn't just speed or effort, it's harmony with life's natural course. Sometimes, the wisest step is to release the struggle and be carried forward. Trusting this is enough to reach where we truly belong. Society's conditioning: swim harder, achieve faster, outperform the river itself. From early childhood, we absorb a powerful message: effort equals success. We're urged to push harder, do more, and constantly improve, as if the goal is to outpace the very current of life itself. This mindset casts the river's gentle flow as an adversary, something to be battled and controlled. We come to believe that by swimming faster, lifting heavier, and racing harder, we'll master the water, conquer circumstances, and prove our strength through relentless striving. This drive is deeply embedded in our culture. It starts in schoolrooms and playgrounds, reinforced by competitive sports, careers, and social status. Achievement becomes a badge of honor: win the race, beat the clock, exceed every expectation. We adopt invisible standards, convincing ourselves that growth demands continuous, intense effort. Gradually, effort evolves into identity. Who we are is defined by how hard we push, what we accomplish, how much we do. But beneath this race lies a hidden paradox. This mindset treats life like a competition to dominate, ignoring the wisdom of the river's quiet strength. A river doesn't fight its current. It flows, adapts, and moves without resistance. It doesn't battle the water. It dances with it. Yet society insists that surrender means weakness and that control is the only path to power. The truth is often the opposite. Sometimes the greatest strength lies in yielding, moving with what is, rather than forcing what isn't. Too often, we forget that the river's power comes from riding the currents gracefully, not fighting them. Life's dance is made of waves, ebbs, and flows, not a straight sprint powered by brute force. The pressure to outpace this flow disconnects us from our natural rhythms. Instead of moving in harmony, we push against the tide, hoping sheer can redirect the stream. This struggle breeds exhaustion and frustration, a feeling that no matter how fast we swim, the river eludes control. Recognizing the fallacy of relentless control brings freedom. When we see that effort alone can't shape reality fully, we embrace surrender, not giving up, but trusting the river's guidance. Flowing with the current rather than resisting it reveals a fresh, potent kind of power. Letting go of the urge to outperform reveals that the current can carry us farther and faster than any force we muster. This surrender invites patience. Instead of racing toward a distant shore, we learn to float, follow the current, and trust its wisdom. It's a subtle but transformative shift, from control to cooperation. Life's currents aren't enemies to beat but rhythms to sync with. When we stop fighting, we find unexpected freedom. Success isn't just speed or effort, it's harmony with life's natural course. Sometimes, the wisest step is to release the struggle and be carried forward. Trusting this is enough to reach where we truly belong. Reflection: when did effort become our religion? In today's world, effort often feels like a sacred right, an unquestioned pathway to meaning, success, and self-worth. From schoolrooms to boardrooms, from morning alarms to midnight emails, the message is clear: work harder, do more, achieve faster. This glorification of effort can overshadow the natural flow of life, a flow that requires less grinding and more awareness, less force and more acceptance. The hustle culture whispers that without ceaseless striving, we risk falling behind, becoming irrelevant or unworthy. But in this race, we often lose sight of the gentle, effortless moments that emerge when we simply be. Moments of creativity, clarity, and peace arise not from pushing but from surrendering, when we step off the relentless treadmill and tune into life's underlying rhythm. Many of us grew up with the belief that grit and endurance are the keys to success, a narrative passed down like gospel. This idea can evolve into a rigid dogma. Productivity becomes synonymous with identity and value. In this mindset, existence itself becomes a backdrop to non-stop labor and stress. When things falter, we blame ourselves for not trying hard enough, ignoring the truths that patience and surrender teach us. Reality is not conquered by sheer will. It unfolds according to its own mysterious timing. Caught in the obsession with effort, we miss the whispers of a life that thrives in stillness and observation. Questioning the myth that equates struggle with achievement reveals the shadows of self-doubt and fear that often underlie our drive. Why do we cling so tightly to this story? There is profound wisdom in realizing that not every moment demands force, that some of the richest discoveries bloom in quiet space. By learning to move with the current instead of against it, we open ourselves to possibilities that striving alone cannot reveal. Next time you feel trapped in the cycle of relentless effort, consider a pause. Breathe. Allow room for ease and presence. True fulfillment might not come from grinding harder but from attuning gently to the natural flow of your life, where insight, joy, and abundance sometimes arrive quietly, without effort at all. Chapter 2. The river has no destination. Western obsession with goals, growth, and purpose. In many Western cultures, life often feels like an endless checklist, a series of goals to set, milestones to reach, and achievements to tally. From childhood onward, we're taught to measure progress by visible markers: career promotions, academic degrees, financial success. This goal-driven framework offers a comforting sense of control and accomplishment, but it can also pull us away from fully experiencing life's present moment. Instead of flowing with life as it unfolds, we fixate on outcomes, treating life like a problem to solve or a mountain to conquer, rather than a river to navigate. Our fascination with measurable progress dulls our awareness of the subtle, shifting rhythms that underlie existence. When every moment is judged by what it leads to, the rich texture of immediate experience slips through our fingers. Motivated by the pursuit of awards, raises, or status, we often miss the spontaneous joys, the quiet connections, and the simple beauty that refuse to fit into neat boxes or be quantified. This fixation creates a rift between us and the natural world, and between us and our own inner lives. Nature doesn't march to human schedules, rivers curve unpredictably, seasons turn in their own time, and growth happens in cycles far from rigid timelines. Yet, we try to cram life into precise plans, seeking certainty where uncertainty rules. Paradoxically, some of the richest parts of living emerge in detours, pauses, and unexpected turns, moments that defy measurement but hold deep significance. The relentless chase for growth and a grand purpose often masks a yearning for control. Purpose becomes a destination, growth a scoreboard. These can soothe anxiety by providing direction but risk trapping us in a treadmill of ceaseless striving. The harder we mold life to our designs, the more we resist its natural ebb and flow, intensifying struggle and dissatisfaction. In hunting for a solid, singular purpose, we sometimes lose sight of the essence of living itself. We assess worth based on productivity, overlooking the richness of simply being. The pressure to find meaning can exhaust us, keeping us fixated on the future and disconnected from the present. True purpose might be less a prize to claim and more a companion that arises spontaneously when we engage authentically with life's moments. Life isn't a fortress to capture or a problem to solve, it's a current to float on, a dance balancing effort and surrender. When we release our need to push endlessly for growth or chase destined achievements, we unlock a subtle freedom. Purpose isn't always ahead of us, it often lives in the flow itself, emerging naturally through actions that resonate with our true selves. By loosening our grip on goals and outcomes, life can carry us to unexpected, deeply needed places. One practical step toward this ease is cultivating moments of stillness and open awareness. Set aside agendas and simply observe your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings. Notice how much tension we carry from the need to achieve. The natural world offers constant lessons in cyclical flow, change, and rest. Reminders that true movement isn't always about growth but also about presence and release. Letting go of rigid control invites a more expansive, fluid experience of living, where purpose unfolds not as a distant goal but as the very act of being. The tyranny of constant becoming, never just being. Many of us find ourselves caught in a relentless push to improve, achieve, and grow. A persistent inner voice tells us we are never enough as we are, urging us toward the next goal, project, or milestone. This obsession with constant doing convinces us that our worth is tied to accomplishments rather than presence. But life isn't a race or a checklist, it's a tapestry of moments slipping past unnoticed when we're too busy planning what comes next. Caught in anticipation or judgment, we overlook the richness of this very breath, this fleeting thought, this quiet space between tasks. Our minds grow conditioned to believe that life is all about becoming, never simply being. Stillness is too often mistaken for laziness or lack of ambition. Yet, this ceaseless striving disconnects us from the heart of existence, showing up fully here and now without needing to change, prove, or produce. Around us swirls an unending urge to control, to manipulate outcomes, as if hard work alone could tame life's mysteries. But control is a mirage. The tighter we grasp, the more we resist life's natural rhythms. True living calls us not to conquer life but to experience it, quietly, simply, just as it is. In the frenzy to become, we forget the power of being. Happiness is not a distant reward, it's a recognition available in this present moment. Instead of calming our minds, we fill our days with noise, tasks, and distractions, chasing success in dreams that pull us away from ourselves. This endless chase exhausts us, leaving a hollow ache of disconnection and unfulfillment. Imagine what freedom could arise if the greatest act was not chasing but fully inhabiting the now. Slowing down allows us to listen, to others, to ourselves, to the subtle whispers of the world. When racing ahead, we miss the beauty in sunlight filtering through leaves, a loved one's gentle touch, or the rhythm of our own breath. These moments are whole, complete, and worthy without fixing or improving. Life invites us into the richness here, urging us to rest in what is rather than constantly molding what should be. Shifting from control to gentle acceptance is a subtle practice, not surrendering to passivity, but learning to flow with life's currents instead of fighting against them. Letting go can feel daunting, challenging our deeply held belief that doing equals worth. But as we learn to trust the process of being, life unfolds with all its ebb and flow, a dance of effort and ease. Small acts of acceptance, pausing before reacting, observing without judgment, build our capacity to be present and allow life to reveal itself without force. In this space of surrender, we awaken to a profound truth: we are enough as we are. There is no need to chase a future ideal or fix what seems incomplete. This freedom invites us to cherish moments of simple presence, free from the distractions of relentless striving. Life transforms from a battle to be won into an unfolding story to be lived. Learning to be content with what is, here and now, may be the greatest achievement of all. A practical step: notice how often your mind drifts to future plans or past regrets. When it does, gently guide your attention back. Feel your breath, listen to surrounding sounds, sense your body. These small moments of awareness loosen the chains of constant doing and anchor you in the reality happening now. Remember, the art of being isn't a goal to grasp but a gentle state to relax into. In this relaxing, you may discover a quiet peace, patiently waiting to be noticed. Nature's wisdom: trees don't chase enlightenment, yet they reach toward the sun effortlessly. Look to the trees, those silent sentinels rooted deeply in the earth. They draw nourishment steadily from the soil while reaching their branches skyward in a graceful, unhurried stretch toward the sun. This movement isn't forced or frantic, it's a natural unfolding, an elegant dance with the rhythms of life itself. Trees embody patience and presence, allowing growth to happen in harmony with the environment's energy. They remind us that true growth isn't about pushing harder but about aligning ourselves with the natural currents that sustain us. Trees don't compare themselves to their neighbors, nor do they worry when seasons are harsh or generous. Instead, they stand with quiet dignity, trusting the process regardless of conditions. Their example invites us to embrace uncertainty with openness and calm. Imagine a life where you release the relentless pressure to achieve and instead allow your passions and purpose to unfold naturally, like branches reaching for light. By channeling this arboreal wisdom, we can learn to ease tension and relinquish the need for control, finding peace in simply being. The tree's upward reach is an inspiring metaphor for alignment. It follows the universal light of the sun, its source of vitality and growth. This instinct challenges us to reflect: what are we truly reaching for? Are we chasing the blinding glare of societal expectations, or are we nourishing our genuine interests and values? Understanding this can help us align our actions with authenticity rather than obligation. The sun becomes a guiding beacon of passion and desire, not a distant finish line to conquer. Observing trees encourages a gentler approach to our aspirations. Life's natural rhythms have their own wisdom, leading us along paths that feel right without forced effort. When we flow with these natural currents, opportunities often arise unexpectedly and effortlessly. Cultivating this flow calls for trust in ourselves and the broader world. Like a tree leaning into the sunlight, we too can open our hearts and minds to receive what life offers. Living in this way can transform our journey, shifting us from struggle to grace, from resistance to growth. Stillness as progress. We often equate progress with non-stop forward motion, a constant push toward goals, achievements, and tangible outcomes. The belief that doing more means becoming more is deeply ingrained. Yet, this overlooks a subtle but profound truth. Sometimes the most meaningful progress arises when we stop forcing movement altogether. Picture a river flowing gracefully around stones. The water doesn't struggle or resist but yields, seeming almost paused, yet alive and fluid. Stillness is often mistaken for inertia, but it can be a quiet form of motion that carries us deeper into self-awareness and purpose. Trying to control everything creates tension and blocks natural flow. When we grasp tightly at future outcomes, we miss the unfolding that happens by letting go. Here, surrender isn't giving up, it's realizing that not everything is ours to command. This is a form of movement, one that may look like standing still but is vibrantly alive. In these calm moments, the mind settles, insights arise, and priorities realign. Life continues its course while stillness reveals that progress is not always measured by milestones but often by subtle internal shifts. The illusion that constant busyness equals progress breeds a cycle where doing replaces simply being. We overload ourselves with tasks and deadlines, chasing validation that never fully satisfies. What's missed is that stillness provides natural recalibration, a chance to listen to what truly matters. Lasting growth springs from this quiet space, where the urge to force movement softens and wiser momentum emerges. This paradox, that stepping back, surrendering control, and embracing stillness is itself a forward step, is at the heart of authentic growth. Stillness is not emptiness but fullness, an expanded awareness flowing effortlessly. Accepting stillness helps us stop measuring worth by productivity, opening a new vantage point where progress means harmony instead of accumulation. In this space, the relentless chase for more loosens its grip. The mind quiets, the heart settles, and clarity blooms, slow and steady like a tree's deepening roots, unseen until strength is undeniable. Embracing stillness means releasing the belief that progress must be loud or visible. It invites appreciation for moments when nothing is demanded except presence. Genuine change sprouts from these quiet places, free from timelines or targets. When we connect with this deeper rhythm, transformation happens naturally, without strain but with profound power. Try holding stillness gently each day, even for a few minutes. Notice how your sense of time and achievement softens. Rather than reacting to external demands, you respond from calm, centered space. Over time, this pause itself becomes a wellspring of strength, creativity, and insight. In a world addicted to speed, choosing stillness may be your boldest, most authentic step toward true progress. Real success, when movement arises naturally, not from fear or compulsion. True success flows from living in harmony with life's natural rhythm, allowing things to unfold without a tight grip on every outcome. Trying to control every detail creates resistance, leading to frustration and strain. Like a river flowing freely around stones, life moves more effortlessly when we stop pushing against what is and begin moving with it. Our actions then become lighter, more authentic, and less draining. This approach is not passivity or surrender to fate, but a wise acknowledgement that life operates on its own schedule and intelligence. We may set intentions, but we do not need to micromanage every step. Seasons change, seeds sprout, and rivers carve paths all in their time. When we align ourselves with these natural patterns, we find peace. Success shifts from forcing results toward cultivating flow. Pause to notice moments when plans fall into place with ease or opportunities arise unexpectedly, signs of being in sync with life's pulse. Accepting what is and releasing resistance reveals life as a dance to enjoy, not a battle to win. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up, it means trusting that everything unfolds as it should, in due time. Success is not a prize won through frantic effort fueled by fear or craving. It emerges when our actions stem from inner clarity and harmony. Acting from hope rather than desperation, we move gently like a surfer riding waves, not fighting them. Decisions made from calm knowing feel natural, reducing strain and increasing authenticity. Many pursue success seeking happiness or approval, yet this chase often drains us because it's driven by external forces. Genuine achievement arises when motivation aligns with our true selves rather than external expectations. Purpose becomes found in everyday living and creative expression, not distant trophies. Actions rooted in genuine interest and peace require less force, making outcomes more effortless. Imagine navigating your day with clarity unmarred by fear or others' demands. Your choices naturally unfold, like a plant growing freely in sunlight rather than being shaped forcibly. Success then becomes an inner fulfillment rather than external validation. Engaging in what truly resonates makes the journey joyful and the results secondary. Notice when pressure drives action, and gently redirect toward what feels authentic inside. Practically, pause before decisions. Ask if motivations arise from fear or desire, or from quiet understanding of personal meaning. Recognizing motivations opens space for actions flowing smoothly from within. Over time, you'll see the most satisfying successes aren't chased but gently unfold when aligned with your inner flow. Chapter 3: Drowning in the Self. The ego as the swimmer who believes the river depends on him. The ego often plays the role of a master swimmer, proudly claiming command over the river of life. It asserts control over every current, believing it alone charts the course and steers the journey. Yet, This confidence masks a profound misreading of reality. The river flows with its own rhythm, indifferent to individual will. But the ego fights this truth, grappling against the current with anxiety and frustration, desperate to dominate an unpredictable stream. With every insistence on control, the ego pulls further away from the interconnected nature of existence. The river's waves and bends represent forces larger than personal will, yet the ego clings tightly, fearing that surrender means weakness or defeat. Observe nature's water. It doesn't resist but adapts, flowing around stones, merging with the earth. The ego swimmer, however, thrashes and splashes aggressively, mistaking struggle for progress. This illusion of mastery dims the simple joy of being and complicates living with grace. True freedom begins with recognizing our vulnerability and releasing the illusion that we alone control life's flow. Accepting that we're part of a vast, flowing stream invites surrender, not passivity, but engaged, graceful participation. When we float with the river rather than battle it, life's unpredictability becomes a source of wonder instead of fear. We learn to navigate with ease, trusting our course unfolds as it should. Mindfulness offers a gateway into this surrender. By staying present, we see that much anxiety arises from imagined futures or past regrets. Shifting attention to the here and now calms the urge to control. We start floating, moving curiously with the waves instead of struggling against them. Life's dance then changes from conquest to belonging, to ourselves, others, and the universe. Like a river flowing freely, we learn to move with fluidity, allowing currents to guide rather than resist. Moments of stillness deepen this awareness. Watching the river, its flow, tides, and changes, reflects our own nature. We are not separate from life's current. We are inseparable from its movement. Embracing this truth transforms energy spent on striving into energy for being. Floating is not weakness. It is the strength found in surrendering to the vastness that carries us all. Anxiety, control, perfectionism, symptoms of spiritual overexertion. When we try to grasp our true nature by sheer force, anxiety often becomes an unwanted companion. This happens because forcing ourselves to control or understand who we are creates inattention. Instead of a calm unfolding, there's a continual need to prove, fix, or defend ourselves. The desire to control tightens like reins on a wild horse, trying to prevent life from spiraling out of control. Yet, this tight grip only fuels restlessness, racing thoughts, worries about the unknown future, and fear of losing ground. Perfectionism creeps in as a way to reassure the self that everything is just as it should be, that every thought, feeling, or action meets some invisible standard. This trio, anxiety, control, and perfectionism, reflects an inner struggle where the spirit is pushed beyond its limits, trying to shape itself rather than simply allowing itself to be known. The harder we try to hold steady, the more fragile everything feels. Our true nature is subtle and cannot be restrained by effort or rigid rules. When we demand perfection from ourselves, it often signals disconnection from the natural flow of life, seeking false safety in illusionary order. Control becomes a double-edged sword, both a shield and a barrier, cutting us off from gentler currents flowing beneath our awareness. Anxiety arises not only from future fears but also from resistance to what is presently unfolding. This exhausting energy depletes our spiritual vitality, trapping us in cycles of doubt and harsh self-judgment. The spirit tires, like an overworked muscle yearning for rest rather than relentless strain. At the root of these symptoms is a misunderstanding of how our deeper self naturally unfolds. Our true essence isn't fixed or to be perfected. It flows like a wave rising and falling effortlessly or breath coming and going naturally. Attempting to clamp down on the wave or hold the breath only breeds tension and disrupts harmony. Anxiety, control, and perfectionism are signs we're manufacturing our spirit rather than letting it reveal itself in its own time and way. This forced approach clashes with the simplicity of being, missing that spirit thrives on presence and openness, not grasping or achieving. A shift occurs when we realize that striving and pushing harder only amplifies the struggle. Instead of battling the current, we can learn to float with it. Life unfolds endlessly without needing our forceful tug. Softening our grip, unclenching our fists of control, and releasing the chase for perfection opens space for acceptance to grow naturally. This isn't surrendering to passivity but a wise acknowledgement of limits in what we can command. The river of life carries us more gently when we stop resisting and let the currents guide rather than forcing each ripple. Accepting who we are moment to moment without harsh judgment relaxes anxiety's coil. Where striving tightens, acceptance expands, a peaceful strength slowly unfolding. This gentle openness invites spirit out of hiding to express itself freely, shedding masks of perfection and chains of control. Where anxiety shrinks our world, acceptance broadens it, welcoming mistakes, uncertainty, and surprises that become fertile ground for growth and discovery. Here, surrender transforms from defeat to wise balance, breathing life back into our hearts. Practically, notice when urges to control or perfect yourself arise. Instead of reacting immediately, breathe into the sensation. Even a few seconds of pause and witnessing anxiety or need to fix can loosen the tight grip naturally. Beneath urgency lies a quiet stillness waiting for attention, the place where your true nature rests, untouched by expectation or effort. Cultivating this gentle awareness regularly eases spiritual overexertion and renews connection to yourself and the world. The paradox of self-help: the harder you try to fix yourself, the more you reinforce the belief that you're broken. Many people embark on the self-help journey believing they are fundamentally flawed and need fixing. They view their habits, thoughts, or emotions as defects to be corrected, which creates a narrative of incompleteness and fuels a relentless pursuit for a better self. But this mindset traps us in a cycle of dissatisfaction and self-criticism, obscuring the deeper truth, that we are naturally whole, not projects requiring constant repair. What if, instead of trying to fix what seems wrong, we simply allowed ourselves to notice our existence as it is? Often, the drive to improve stems from the belief that peace and happiness depend on change. Yet this focus on deficiency eclipses the reality that we are complete in this very moment. The pursuit of self-improvement then becomes patching an illusion of inadequacy, overlooking that all our thoughts, feelings, and experiences are inherently part of us as they are. Our essence isn't broken but misunderstood because of the stories we tell ourselves about needing transformation. Understanding this shifts the perspective profoundly. Rather than seeing ourselves as flawed, we begin to see ourselves as whole. This doesn't mean stagnation but recognizing that wholeness exists now, not just in some future ideal. Focusing on fixing ourselves creates separation between who we are and who we want to become, fostering a persistent gap that feeds more struggle rather than acceptance. Self-help, when truly effective, peels back layers of misunderstanding instead of adding to them. We don't need to subtract or add to ourselves. Rather, we uncover what has always been beneath the surface. This gentle unfolding invites self-acceptance and presence, replacing the relentless push with quiet embrace. Ironically, the harder we try to change, the wider this gap often grows. Efforts fueled by good intentions can backfire, emphasizing distance from the ideal rather than closing it. Trying to suppress difficulties like anxiety through force or mastery sometimes intensifies them, because focusing on flaws keeps them alive. The very act of trying to fix can entrench the belief that we're lacking, perpetuating cycles of doubt and discontent. This ongoing cycle of self-improvement as battle rather than acceptance undermines peace. Instead of making peace with ourselves, we keep searching for fixes, deepening the split between who we are and who we wish to be. In this chase, we forget that change may arise not from correction but from acknowledging our inherent completeness in the present moment. Practically, notice when impulse to fix arises. Ask if this effort connects you closer to yourself or fuels more disconnection. Sometimes pausing the urge to improve reveals that you are enough as you are, flaws, quirks, and all. Acceptance of current reality often dissolves resistance, allowing natural transformation to arise without struggle or force. The medicine: awareness without judgment. Awareness without judgment invites us to step back and observe our thoughts and emotions without labeling them as good or bad. This gentle witnessing allows our inner experiences to unfold naturally, freeing us from the need to react, fix, or suppress. By cultivating this mindful presence, we become observers of our own mental and emotional landscape, seeing them as they are instead of how we wish them to be. Imagine yourself in a park, watching clouds drift lazily across the sky. You notice their shapes and movements without taking them personally or assigning meaning. In the same way, thoughts can pass through our minds without requiring attachment or judgment. This light, non-judgmental observation fosters mental openness and helps dissolve the heavy burden of self-criticism, creating space for peace and clarity. Embracing awareness without judgment deepens our self-understanding. We begin to recognize patterns in how we think and emotionally react, perhaps harsh self-criticism after a mistake or anxiety about uncertain futures. Simply noticing these habitual tendencies without judgment creates a shift in perspective, leading to more conscious and compassionate responses. This form of gentle awareness acts as a bridge, connecting our inner world with the external one, enhancing our clarity and empathy toward ourselves and others. Through non-judgmental awareness, the illusion of separation begins to dissolve. When we stop categorizing experiences and people as right or wrong, we see the interconnectedness that binds us all. Each moment becomes a thread woven into the vast fabric of existence, fostering a sense of belonging and shared humanity. This compassionate presence nurtures deeper connections, helping us see beyond superficial differences and recognize the feelings that unite us. Consider the simplicity of watching a flower bloom, from bud to full blossom, without interference or rush, only curiosity and acceptance. Applying this same attitude to our relationships encourages openness and genuine understanding. When we engage without judgment, we honor others' experiences as integral parts of life's rich tapestry, which nurtures deeper bonds and mutual respect. In times of stress or conflict, returning to non-judgmental awareness supports emotional balance. Observing difficult moments without immediate reaction fosters resilience, allowing us to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. Cultivated over time, this practice enriches our life journey, helping us navigate experiences with grace and a deepened sense of connection. To begin, set aside a few minutes daily for quiet reflection. Simply observe your thoughts and feelings without chasing or resisting them. Allow your mind's currents to flow freely, creating space for inner stillness and renewed connection to yourself and the world. You can't drown in water that you already are. When we look at a river, it's natural to think of the water as separate, flowing independently from the banks, rocks, or sky above. Yet the water is deeply connected to all that surrounds it, the rain that feeds it, the earth it follows, the trees shading its edges, and the atmosphere it breathes. In the same way, we often mistake the self for a separate entity, isolated from the world. This sense of separation is like mist hovering over water, temporary and easily lifted by awareness. We tend to see ourselves as islands, detached from others and the forces shaping our lives. But your thoughts, feelings, and experiences are like streams merging into an immense ocean. The ego builds borders that pretend to separate us, but these barriers are more like ripples than solid walls. Recognizing this illusion shifts how we see ourselves, not as figures afloat above life, but as movements within its flow. The currents of life carry all, joys, sorrows, clarity, confusion. Believing in separation makes us struggle against the flow, clutching a fixed identity as if it were firm ground. Yet the river of life never stops moving. Resistance means missing the point. Awareness dawns when we realize we are inseparable from life's ebb and flow. We are the water, the river, and the tide. This softens our edges and invites peace with our experience. Imagine being thrown into a river, panicked by the fear of drowning in foreign waters. That fear arises from believing you're separate from and overwhelmed by the water. But what if you knew you were already immersed? Water isn't an outsider to battle. It's part of your being. This awareness unmasks drowning as surrender, letting life's flow carry you instead of fighting. Struggling to stay afloat fades when you trust your nature as part of the water. The boundary between self and environment fades, and anxiety eases. This understanding has practical power. When emotions or situations seem overwhelming, our instinct is to resist, fearing floods. But realizing you're already within the current strips fears hold. You move with less struggle, letting experience flow around and through without being engulfed. Floating becomes trust, in the river, in your integral place within it, and in life support rather than threat. Thus, you can't drown in water that you already are reminds us not to fight life's currents but to become one with them. Rest in knowing each difficult wave carries depth, spaciousness, and strength found through flow, not resistance. Next time overwhelm hits, breathe deeply and remind yourself, you are not separate but intertwined with your experience. Let thoughts and feelings pass like waves, neither grasping nor rejecting. Through this, what seemed drowning reveals itself as effortless floating, a gentle dance with life itself. Chapter 4: The Sacred Art of Doing Nothing. Reclaiming rest as a spiritual act. Rest is often seen as merely a pause in activity, a chance to catch a breath. But when approached with mindful awareness, rest transforms into a sacred space where we quietly reconnect with ourselves and the life that flows through and around us. In these still moments, the voice of truth can be heard more clearly beyond the noise of daily demands. Rest invites surrender, encouraging us to stop chasing meaning outside ourselves and instead find it within. It reminds us gently that letting go opens us to a profound sense of being, one that doesn't rely on doing, achieving, or proving anything. Many spiritual traditions honor rest not as laziness but as a gateway to deeper presence. Slowing down allows us to notice subtle energies circulating within and around us. These moments reveal our deep connection to life itself, a reminder that we are woven into the fabric of the world, inseparable from it. Rest becomes sacred when recognized as nourishment for the soul, a container where presence and awareness flourish. Here, a natural rhythm emerges, reminding us life includes pauses where awareness awakens to itself. In this sacred stillness, time seems to dissolve, and the boundaries between self and universe blur. Rest becomes a devotional act, a way to honor the divine within and around us. Reclaiming rest as sacred changes our perspective. It is no longer only a break for physical rejuvenation but a path toward a deeper sense of purpose and oneness. Within these quiet spaces, we often feel gentle whispers of something greater, encouraging trust that all is well, even in stillness. Seeing rest this way reshapes our daily lives, making every moment a precious chance to connect with the pure presence sustaining all life. Learning to sit quietly and breathe without the need to control or analyze opens a door to life's natural flow. Stillness isn't just the absence of noise but a conscious choice to stop fighting what is now. When we surrender, the mind's endless chatter loosens. We begin to sense a quiet presence always there. This surrender isn't giving up, it's letting go of trying to fix, change, or manipulate, gently accepting each unfolding moment with trust in life's rhythm and intelligence. Practicing stillness can take many forms: silent sitting, slow walking without agenda, or simply observing the breath. In all, we learn to trust life's ebb and flow rather than resist it. As surrender deepens, we recognize a natural current moving within, guiding us through life's highs and lows. This connection makes life less a struggle and more a dance, a continuous unfolding of what is. With trust, the restless mind calms, and peace grows, rooted in awareness of our belonging to something greater than ourselves. Embracing stillness and surrender daily changes how we engage life's challenges. Instead of resisting discomfort or chaos, we meet them with openness, seeing them as parts of a larger whole. This openness invites grace that can soften even deep wounds. By ceasing to push against life's rhythms and flowing with them, we create space for clarity, joy, and belonging. Over time, gentle surrender deepens our connection to ourselves and the eternal flow whispering in every moment. Making stillness and surrender habits turns life into continuous meditation, a flowing presence that gently transforms everything. Even a few moments of daily conscious stillness can begin to shift your experience. Set aside time to sit quietly, focus on breath, and notice what arises without judgment. Each surrender practice is a reaffirmation of trust in life's natural unfolding. Gradually, this choice nurtures peace that remains, even amid chaos. The more you lean into stillness and surrender, the more your life mirrors the gentle, steady rhythm of flow, dancing harmoniously with existence itself. Why boredom is the doorway to awakening. In moments of boredom, we often reflexively seek distraction, scrolling on phones, browsing social media, or tuning into mindless TV, to escape the quiet unease. These distractions create a temporary bubble, shielding us from the stillness boredom invites. But what if, instead of fleeing, we pause to explore this feeling? Boredom acts as a mirror, reflecting the chaos of our restless minds and ceaseless desires. It lifts a veil, offering a chance to look within and question what truly matters amidst life's frenetic pace. This stillness can feel daunting because it forces us to face the inner noise we usually drown out. Yet within that silence may lie gentle whispers of creativity and clarity. When we resist filling boredom with frantic activity, we begin to hear the subtle language of our own thoughts and emotions. This deep listening can reveal hidden passions, forgotten desires, and fresh ideas lying just beneath the surface. In these quiet moments without distraction, we encounter the essence of who we are, free from external expectations or hurry. Allowing ourselves to embrace boredom as a space for being, rather than doing, opens a door to profound realization and deeper self-connection. It is a rare invitation to slow down, attend inward, and awaken to life's deeper currents beneath everyday noise. The cosmic humor of productivity culture. In today's world, the sacred act of stillness has been overshadowed by an endless race. Moments of quiet contemplation, once cherished as essential pauses in life's flow, have been replaced by a relentless push to do more, achieve more, and be more. Instead of savoring a simple breath or enjoying a fleeting pause, many feel compelled to fill every second with activity, productivity, or measurable output. This shift turns the natural ebb of life's rhythm into an exhausting chase after an invisible finish line. We schedule our breaks, optimize our sleep, and even track our rest as if those, too, are tasks on a to-do list. Our culture teaches us to see stillness not as an essential part of being, but as wasted time, something to fix or fill. The idea that idleness holds value feels almost incomprehensible. Yet in those still moments, creativity often blooms, clarity arises, and the sense of self deepens. When stillness is outlawed by the tyranny of productivity, the soul becomes a factory, operating machinery without pause. Ironically, the very pursuit intended to give us control, constant busyness, often leaves us feeling fragmented, distracted, and more pressured than ever. This relentless chase feeds on the belief that our worth is measured by output, that every tick of the clock must be capitalized. Our phones buzz not just with messages but reminders of what else we should be doing, creating, or achieving. Even rest hours carry guilt, as if we owe the world beyond mere presence. When sacred pauses dissolve in anxiety about productivity, the paradox completes. In trying to gain more time through efficiency, we lose the essence of living itself. There is a cosmic joke here, a slapstick dance on life's floor. Measuring life's value by endless achievement turns an intimate unfolding into a rat race. Busyness masquerades as importance, woven into social media, corporate mantras, and casual conversations. Exhaustion becomes a badge of honor, signaling productivity as currency. Yet stepping back reveals the absurdity, everyone trying to prove their aliveness through doing more, faster, louder, as if inertia itself threatens existence. Life is not a checklist but a flow of moments, many that refuse to be rushed or quantified. The humor lies in our desperate efforts to fit the infinite richness of experience into tight boxes of deadlines and goals. Trying to pin down meaning through constant achievement is like chasing the wind itself. The deepest value often emerges not from what we do, but from simply being, noticeably still, quietly present, and gently aware. Next time the pressure to get things done creeps in, remember the cosmic humor at play. Life is not a project to manage but a living expression to embody. Stepping away, even briefly, isn't lost time. It's a rebellion against a system that confuses speed with progress. Allowing space to breathe, pause, and just exist may be the most radical productivity hack of all. Doing less, but with full attention. Doing less doesn't mean becoming passive or shirking responsibilities. Rather, it centers on shifting focus from constant activity to a gentler, more aware way of being. When we cultivate gentle awareness, we notice how often we try to control every detail or push ourselves to keep moving without pause. Simply observing where our attention drifts reveals that life flows with its own rhythm. Instead of battling the current, we learn to move with it, allowing moments to unfold naturally and without resistance. This creates room for clarity, peace, and a profound sense of harmony, making doing less feel like a natural, liberating state rather than a burden. Living this way invites us to be fully present with what is, without judgment or striving. We become sensitive to subtle shifts in our energy and can step back when stress or busyness take over. In that quiet space, we attune more deeply to life's flow, noticing how much of our effort generates noise rather than genuine progress. Slowing down and recognizing that much fuss is unnecessary helps us reconnect with our true nature. Doing less with full attention doesn't equate to inaction. It means approaching life's tasks more consciously, with greater ease and acceptance of natural pace. True focus arises not from striving or pushing to reach a destination, but from allowing ourselves to be present. When we touch moments of stillness, we often find our minds drifting into chatter, judgment, or planning. Yet, In these pauses, a deeper stillness awakens. It is here that genuine presence begins to resonate. Letting go of control means accepting what is, without resistance or judgment. By releasing our need to shape life forcibly, we open to clearer understanding about what genuinely matters. In these still moments, what we seek often emerges effortlessly, without force or grasping. Fully attending to still moments unveils subtle beauty in everyday life. We notice details often overlooked, the play of sunlight on surfaces or the whisper of wind through the leaves. These small experiences anchor us to now and remind us that life is about experiencing moment by moment, not racing toward goals. Accepting that outcomes are often beyond our control lets relief flow through us. This isn't indifference but a shift from forcing results to appreciating what already exists. In this shift, clarity and peace come more easily, guiding us gently through the unfolding day. The subtle joy of presence when nothing needs to happen. Presence is a delicate dance, unfolding quietly amid the rush of daily life. When we embrace stillness, we tap into a deep well of joy that often hides beneath the noise and activity. This joy isn't born from achievement or busyness but from simply being. Recall moments spent sitting quietly, gazing at clouds or watching leaves stir in the breeze, where the simple sensations of nature awaken a profound sense of wonder and connection. True presence dissolves the mental barriers created by dwelling on past or future concerns. Recognizing this, we stand at a crossroads. Can we release our to-do lists and let ourselves be fully here? In this sacred space of nothingness, life flows freely, like a river gliding over stones with effortless grace. The joy of presence doesn't demand action. It invites us home to ourselves, allowing mind and heart to settle in harmony. It gently reminds us we are perfectly aligned with the universe just as we are. Nothingness may seem intimidating at first, but when approached with curiosity, it reveals itself as a canvas, not a void. This simplicity invites us to shed burdens and open to what is. Imagine sitting quietly as the clamor of thoughts fades. An openness emerges, flowing gently like a river around obstacles. There's no rush or destination, only the unfolding journey itself. Life's essence is rhythm and flow. In stillness, clarity and inspiration arise naturally. Acceptance of each moment lets life evolve without resistance. Sometimes solutions appear effortlessly, like magic, proof of life's gracious dance where nothing forced is needed for something beautiful to bloom. A practical invitation: carve out moments daily, moments of deep breathing or calm observation, to clear away distraction and rediscover the joy of simply being. Chapter 5. Trusting the Current. How surrender is misunderstood. It's not giving up, it's giving in. Surrender is often mistaken for giving up. Many imagine it as raising a white flag, accepting defeat, or losing control, making it seem weak or to be avoided. But surrender isn't about abandoning life's challenges or goals. Instead, it's recognizing when resistance causes more harm than good. Clinging too tightly to plans or pushing against uncontrollable circumstances creates unnecessary struggle, clouding clarity and draining energy. True surrender is seeing beyond the notion of failure to embrace life's shifting rhythms naturally. Misunderstanding surrender blinds us to the possibility of flow. Life is dynamic, not static. We often envision success as a straight path reached by relentless willpower. Obstacles trigger urges to fight harder or give up. But what if the real challenge is to adjust with the current rather than battle it? Surrender can unlock freedom, allowing something greater than ourselves to lead. It's not ceasing effort but redirecting it toward what serves best in each moment. Without this awareness, we risk exhaustion from controlling the uncontrollable. Letting go of the false belief that surrender equals giving up opens space for ease and presence in daily life. Seeing surrender as a conscious, active choice transforms its meaning. It's not passivity but alignment with unfolding patterns. Imagine standing in a river, water flowing around you. Rather than fighting current or swimming upstream, you lean in, letting it gently carry you, while staying aware and grounded. Surrender is this balance, letting go and holding on, trusting and engaging. Surrender transforms life from battle to collaboration. You learn to discern what you influence and conserve energy for meaningful efforts. Accepting conditions as they are without resistance allows responses from calm clarity. Practically, It might mean adapting plans when doors close instead of forcing entry, or releasing relationships that no longer support growth, not quitting but moving with life's flow. Surrender nurtures patience and faith, reminding us that openness sometimes paves the surest way forward. One practical way to distinguish surrender from giving up is through inner awareness. Giving up often feels heavy, despairing, like collapsing under pressure. Surrender carries gentler energy, a quiet acceptance, relief, or softening inside. This feeling guides decisions, helping you know when to hold firm or yield. Surrender doesn't diminish personal power. It reveals deeper strength born from flowing with the tide instead of fighting against it. Control versus participation. Trying to control everything around us often feels like pushing against a flowing river. The harder we push, the stronger the resistance. This struggle convinces us we can master life's currents, but most forces remain beyond our grasp. The illusion of control coaxes us into opposing life's natural flow, creating turbulence and frustration, while surrender often offers a wiser path. Our urge to dominate or fix situations may seem effective, but it masks exhaustion and disconnection. Life's rhythms, seasons, winds, flowing time, unfold independently. Recognizing this teaches us that resisting the current only wears us down, and acceptance can lead to peace amidst chaos. In trying to control, we forget we're part of a larger whole moving beyond personal desires. Like clutching flowing water, control slips away, reinforcing inner struggle rather than easing tension. True peace arises when we release the illusion of control and observe life's flow. This shift fosters a natural, fulfilling experience. Participation means seeing ourselves not as controllers but as dancers in life's ongoing rhythm. Instead of imposing will, we align with currents, acting in tune with reality rather than forcing change. For instance, accepting stress or setbacks and adapting exemplifies presence with what is. This subtle influence replaces force with grace and cooperation. Surrendering the illusion of separateness helps us move fluidly with life's movement. Listening fully in conversations rather than dominating, approaching work with patience instead of force, these are acts of participation. It's not quitting but trusting the natural unfolding when control loosens. Viewing participation as surrender changes life from battle to flow. Influence comes from presence, not power. This shift brings calm confidence and reduces stress, fostering genuine engagement. It's working with reality, knowing sometimes the best future influence arises from presence now. A practical tip: release the need to control small things daily. Let plans change without tension, noting resistance breeds struggle, while acceptance brings ease. Embracing life's ebb and flow cultivates trust and reveals influence flows best when we step back and participate, rather than try to lead solo. Faith not as belief, but as intimacy with uncertainty. Faith often gets mistaken for a fixed belief, something rigid and unchanging. But true faith dances within a more fluid realm, extending beyond mere conviction. It invites us to sit comfortably with the unknown, engaging with life's unpredictability instead of rejecting it. True faith is an intimate understanding that acknowledges we don't need all the answers to find peace. It's a quiet trust that life will unfold as it should, even when certainty is absent. Reflect on moments when you felt deeply connected to something larger than yourself. More than belief, it was that intimate sense of connection, trusting that things are moving in the right direction, that carried you through the unknown. Embracing uncertainty allows life's richness to surface. This openness fosters resilience, provides new perspectives, and invites experiences we might otherwise overlook. Engaging with life's ebb and flow means doing less to control and more to stay receptive. Life, like a winding river, is inherently unpredictable. Instead of resisting this natural flow, embracing it deepens our sense of faith. Openness and humility are our guides. Trust, built in this flowing light, helps us navigate with confidence, not knowing exactly what lies ahead but trusting that beauty can emerge from the twists and turns. Relinquishing control doesn't mean passive acceptance but active engagement, acknowledging our thoughts and feelings while staying open to life's mysterious unfolding. Practicing this kind of trust involves small daily acts, journaling, meditation, or honest dialogues, that encourage us to acknowledge fears and curiosities alike. These practices reinforce the understanding that uncertainty isn't a threat but a fertile ground for growth. As we deepen our connection to the unpredictable, we find greater freedom, not just spiritually but in all areas of life. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to connect more deeply with ourselves and the community, reinforcing that life's journey is spiritual and collective. Stories and analogies. The surfer, the dancer, the leaf on the stream. The surfer embodies surrender and harmony. Watching one ride a wave reveals they're not battling the ocean but flowing with its vast power. The wave is unpredictable, beyond control, yet the surfer learns to trust and move with its energy. This relationship teaches that resistance breeds tension and imbalance, while letting go invites grace and ease. Life often feels like a wild wave. Struggling against it causes weariness. The surfer's lesson is to relax into experience, trusting flow rather than fighting the current. This trust isn't passivity but attuned responsiveness, moving in rhythm with life's forces. Imagine approaching daily ups and downs like shifting tides, adjusting calmly instead of fighting. Just as a surfer reads wave shape, we can heed life's subtle cues and adapt. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges but recognizing the futility of resistance and engaging with openness. Magic unfolds in the balance of effort and ease, control and surrender. The surfer reminds us harmony arises not from controlling every detail but finding our place in the larger flow and trusting the wave to carry us, if we loosen our grip a little. The leaf on the stream shows another truth. Picture a single leaf drifting gently on flowing water. It does not resist, direct, or attach to a destination. It simply floats, moving with whatever comes. This effortless ease invites us to relax fully into life's natural unfolding. Instead of pushing or steering, the leaf models contentment with presence and acceptance. The leaf's lesson, releasing judgment and control, frees the immense energy we often waste forcing outcomes. When we become like the leaf, life's currents carry us to where we need to be, even if unexpected. Resistance tightens our body and mind. Surrender softens, opening us to hidden possibilities. The leaf's simple journey reveals the profound power of letting go. Trusting the flow amid uncertainty brings peace. Stillness in motion can be the most effective way to navigate shifts and challenges. Together, surfer and leaf inspire living with less struggle and more acceptance. They show tension arises from trying to control the uncontrollable, while freedom grows from embracing flow. Neither represents passivity or weakness. The surfer models skillful engagement within energy, the leaf models openness and trust. Both remind us to find rhythm between holding on and letting go, trusting the path will unfold as we move through it. A practical exercise. When facing difficulty, pause and ask if you are resisting or flowing. Feel where tension appears as a signal. Softening that tension just enough opens awareness to how moving with the situation could feel. This simple shift transforms struggle into ease and reveals options previously hidden. Practicing this balance often makes life's waves feel less like barriers and more like partners in dance, guiding you forward. The quiet confidence that comes from flowing with, not against. Sometimes, we believe we must steer our lives with constant effort, pushing hard to control outcomes. Yet this struggle often creates resistance and tension. When we accept that we cannot control everything, we open ourselves to a deeper intelligence at work. Letting go of the need to always be in charge allows us to become aware of the subtle currents guiding our lives. Trust grows as we realize life is not a battle to win but a current to join, a shift that eases the tension and helps us find peace. Trusting the flow means acknowledging control as an illusion. Our minds tell us to have all the answers and plan for every contingency, but life reminds us that surprises and setbacks are part of the journey. By ceasing to fight reality, we create space for life to unfold naturally. Like a river flowing around obstacles, we learn to move with what is rather than resist. Surrender becomes an opening to life's rhythm, where minor signals and moments become guides we might otherwise miss. This trust requires quieting the mind and observing without rushing to act or judge. Instead of fixing problems instantly, we wait for clarity. Listening to intuition and subtle life cues reveals that life supports us beyond our plans. Trust deepens through patience and awareness, inviting us to embrace the unknown as part of life's dance rather than a threat to control. As we embrace life as a flowing current, a quiet confidence emerges, not the loud assurance of dominance, but a calm knowing of belonging to something greater. Ceasing resistance releases energy waste and reveals strength in acceptance. Moving with life's current signifies understanding, not weakness. We find power in receiving each moment without forcing it into a predetermined shape. This gentle confidence isn't about certainty or external validation. It's inner alignment. When faced with decisions, it's less about mental argument and more about sensing the quiet clarity inside. This form of strength whispers we are held within life's natural flow, offering steadiness no external success can match. Living with this inward certainty calls for patience and faith in unseen currents. True strength may be gentle, rooted in recognizing our place within a larger rhythm. This alignment fosters resilience, allowing us to meet setbacks calmly and sometimes simply drift as life unfolds more reliably than control. To nurture this confidence, cultivate mindfulness in daily acts, washing dishes, walking, breathing, and remind yourself life moves in its own time. Tuning into this flow inspires trust, softening resistance and fostering a steady, open heart. Choosing to follow this natural rhythm offers a quiet strength that sustains even when life's waves grow rough. Chapter 6. The Paradox of Effortless Action, Wu Wei. Ancient Taoist principle of Wu Wei, doing without doing. The ancient Taoist teaching of Wu Wei encapsulates the art of effortless action, doing without doing. It invites us to move with the flow of life rather than struggle against it, much like a river cascading naturally down a mountainside. Instead of forcing or controlling outcomes, Wu Wei encourages a gentle yielding to life's currents, allowing events to unfold as they will. While this may seem counterintuitive in a culture that prizes relentless effort as the path to success, Wu Wei offers a profound alternative. Sometimes the most impactful actions arise from letting go of control rather than tightening it. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest where trees sway gracefully in the wind, bending without breaking. This harmony among nature's elements expresses the essence of Wu Wei. Observing how plants grow, rivers carve, and seasons turn without force reminds us there is a natural balance essential to thriving. Everything in nature flows in tune with its environment rather than against it. Bringing this attitude into daily life can cultivate peace and fluidity, helping us navigate challenges with greater ease and grace. Wu Wei invites accepting the limits of personal control, a liberating realization. Life is inherently unpredictable. No matter how much we plan, things may unfold unexpectedly. By releasing the illusion of mastery, we open ourselves to new possibilities aligned with our deepest selves rather than fears or external pressures. This dance with life reveals opportunities we might otherwise miss, fostering alignment and authenticity. To practice Wu Wei, start loosening rigid plans and fixed expectations. Instead, cultivate attentive listening to subtle signals from your surroundings, from your intuition, and from life itself. Notice how life softly guides us when we pause to hear. The fruits of this practice may not be immediate, but over time, life's currents often smooth out, carrying us in a state of calm ease. The beauty of Wu Wei lies in surrendering the need to control, thus opening to the inherent magic woven through existence. How mastery feels like ease, not force. Watching someone who has mastered their craft reveals a fluidity that is striking, not a struggle or forced effort, but a natural, rhythmic movement. Their response to challenges arises almost automatically, guided by a deep alignment with the flow of the moment. The energy behind mastery is not exertion but harmony, much like water smoothly flowing around a rock. The effort is hidden beneath a serene surface, making mastery appear effortless. Mastery means flowing with what is rather than fighting it. This does not imply laziness or passivity, but a focused attention that releases tension and allows creativity and responsiveness to flourish. The mind quiets, the body moves seamlessly, like breathing or walking. In these moments, skill becomes a dance balancing intention and spontaneity, where effort disappears and presence takes its place. To cultivate this ease, develop awareness of when you might be trying too hard. Often, the struggle itself impedes progress. Slow down and sense how your body feels in tension versus relaxation. Mastery emerges when actions flow naturally from deep internal knowing, without forcing or controlling every aspect. This approach brings lightness to your work, turning it into a dialogue with your craft instead of a battle. Trusting this process allows true skill to emerge with clarity and calm, free from strain. When action arises from harmony instead of egoic urgency. True harmony is not merely a feeling but a way of being where life flows smoothly through us without force or control. Acting from this place means responding to life organically rather than reacting out of compulsion or egoic urgency. Instead of pushing against reality, we align with its natural rhythm, allowing actions to emerge softly, like a gentle stream carving its path. In these moments, action feels effortless and authentic, flowing through us rather than originating in struggle or control. This response requires stepping back from hurriedness and hard-driving intensity. We often conflate meaningful action with speed and noise, but harmony favors quiet attention over frantic effort. By noticing when rushing causes tension and when pausing cultivates clarity, we tune into life's natural cadence. In such pauses, action arises when the moment is ripe, no need to force it. While the ego clamors for immediate and loud assertion, calm awareness patiently waits to guide the right move. Consider the image of a tree leaning with the wind. Its branches bend and sway easily, flowing with the breeze instead of resisting. This illustrates acting from harmony, attuning to the present and subtle currents beneath life's surface. Actions rooted in this harmony move with the flow, not from control or proving oneself. Even the smallest gesture carries profound depth because it is grounded in the truth of now. Trusting this flow means releasing force and moving gracefully, confident that the right outcome will manifest. Harmony sometimes requires embracing stillness before action. This stillness quiets the ego's roar and allows deeper clarity to rise. What might appear as doing nothing is actually cultivating the fertile space where authentic action can emerge naturally. This challenges ingrained habits of rushing but invites a balanced dance between surrender and engagement. Actions born from this place feel like extensions of being, not exhausting battles. Actions from harmony don't have to be grand. A smile, a kind word, a quiet presence can profoundly express alignment with life's flow. Increasing awareness reveals that egoic urgency often masks underlying fears. Breathing into this awareness helps us find the strength to be still and yield. When action flows naturally from this intimate place, it creates ease and invites others into the spaciousness of presence. This gentle pulse of life carries true power, not force but graceful, authentic movement. Effortlessly isn't idleness. It's releasing the struggle to control life's unfolding. Accepting the present diminishes the compulsion to push or fix. We soften into what is, letting life unfold in its own time without resistance. This surrender opens space for spontaneous, connected action arising from trust rather than fear or striving. Energy no longer scatters in resistance but flows with life's natural current, like a surfer gliding on waves, riding with ease instead of fighting the tide. Surrendering in this way is an active dance between letting go and holding firm. It requires listening deeply to the moment's needs, sometimes pausing, sometimes stepping forward. These pauses often become gateways to perfectly timed action where effort melts into grace. The more we practice this, the more naturally we inhabit a state where life reveals its path, and our steps follow gently in harmony. To cultivate this, begin by noticing when ego-driven urgency tightens your body or mind. Pause, breathe deeply, and ask if your next move arises from calm inner stillness or from compulsion to control. Yielding that need creates space for the right action to arise naturally. With regular practice, your mind learns to listen and respond from clarity and peace, transforming daily life into a balanced, confident flow where each step is soft, sure, and harmonized with the present moment. Flow state. Modern psychology meets ancient Zen. The concept of Wu Wei, a cornerstone of Taoist philosophy, perfectly aligns with the modern psychological understanding of the flow state as defined by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action or non-doing, encourages us to harmonize with life's natural flow, achieving goals with grace rather than resistance. Instead of forcing outcomes or struggling against reality, Wu Wei invites trust in the unfolding process, allowing our actions to become intuitive and spontaneous. This creates space for deeper fulfillment rooted in presence, rather than ego-driven control. Imagine a river effortlessly carving its way through the landscape, adapting fluidly to rocks and bends. Similarly, Wu Wei teaches us to navigate challenges with ease by responding thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. In this state, our actions feel natural, embodying a peaceful authenticity. Many report that embracing Wu Wei leads to not only greater productivity but also increased joy and engagement in their activities. Modern psychology's flow state resonates profoundly with Zen principles of surrender and presence. Flow occurs when we become fully immersed in an activity, losing self-consciousness and time awareness, achieving extraordinary results without forced effort. Zen emphasizes relinquishing excessive control and being present, echoing Wu Wei's message. Both traditions highlight how mastery arises from embracing the moment rather than controlling it. Practically, entering flow requires engaging in tasks that balance challenge and skill, be it painting, climbing, or music, immersing fully without obsessing over outcomes. This engagement nurtures a mindful presence akin to Zen awareness, turning actions into a mastery dance that unfolds organically. Techniques like mindfulness meditation or focused breathing can help cultivate easier access to this state in daily life. By seeking harmony between effort and effortless action, we transform how we face obstacles, seeing them as invitations to adapt, learn, and grow. This mindset fosters joy in the journey itself, where even mundane tasks carry the potential for flow. Integrating Wu Wei and flow psychology offers a practical, inspiring framework to navigate life with calm, poise, and deep engagement. Notice when you're most absorbed in your activities and savor the joy of full presence that naturally arises. The more you align with life, the less you need to push. Trying to control life too forcefully creates unnecessary tension, like swimming upstream against a current that could carry you effortlessly. Effort in this way becomes resistance, and resistance breeds frustration and stagnation. Paradoxically, when you ease up and stop forcing, momentum arises naturally, moving you toward your goals with less strain. This isn't about laziness or shirking responsibility. It's about recognizing that excessive effort can be a barrier instead of a help. Picture a river flowing around rocks and bends. It doesn't waste energy pushing through immovable obstacles but adapts, following paths of least resistance. Similarly, resisting your life's natural rhythms leads to inner struggle, stress, and sometimes burnout. Accepting the flow aligns your actions with life's currents, creating a lighter, more purposeful experience. This alignment isn't passive surrender. It's a conscious choice to act with awareness rather than blind force. Attuning to life's rhythms means observing how things unfold naturally. Some moments demand action, others call for patience. Recognizing this supports letting go of pushing unnecessarily and engaging fully with the present. Life is intelligent and orderly. Respecting its flow nurtures growth and well-being. Releasing the need for control opens possibilities hidden beneath resistance. This harmony comes from ongoing listening and responding with sensitivity. It's more like dancing with music than wrestling off-beat. Stress lessens, solutions arise naturally, and stepping back often lets things fall into place in ways force never could. This practice transforms struggle into ease and resistance into flow. To cultivate this, notice feelings of tightness or strain during challenges. They signal pushing against life rather than working with it. Pause, breathe deeply, and relax your grip. Ask, what does this moment want from me? Instead of imposing your will. This subtle perspective shift invites cooperation, opening doors to new possibilities from life's own unfolding. Chapter 7. When the river gets rough. Suffering as turbulence, not punishment, but transformation. Imagine a river that doesn't flow smoothly all the time but encounters rocks, fallen branches, and sharp drops, causing turbulent, swirling currents. This turbulence isn't a sign of failure but part of the river's natural movement. Likewise, disruptions in our lives shake us up but serve essential purposes, breaking monotony, opening space for new energy, and reminding us that life isn't meant to be steady constantly. Resisting change only intensifies the struggle. Recognizing turbulence as growth helps us embrace change more patiently. Resisting turbulence is like stiffening against waves and whirlpools, but these are natural expressions of water's dance. Similarly, emotional and mental storms carry lessons. Pain and discomfort aren't enemies but vital forces propelling us toward deeper understanding. Turbulent moments force us to adapt, become flexible, and deepen our awareness of life's ebb and flow. Turbulence signals life's vitality. Sudden shifts, loss, disappointment, chaos, ignite change, shaking us from complacency and urging fresh perspectives. Just as a river needs turbulence to avoid stagnation, we need storms to grow beyond limiting views. Accepting chaos as a vital part of movement encourages patience and curiosity. Every rough current reflects the river seeking new pathways, Every upheaval asks us to stay present and open to transformation, trusting that turbulence shapes personal evolution. Often, suffering is viewed as something to avoid. Yet pain can be a teacher, not punishment. Accepting pain rather than fighting it allows it to shift and become a gateway to growth. Suffering strips superficial layers, revealing hidden parts of ourselves and inviting surrender, letting go of control and embracing resilience. This surrender isn't defeat but opening to life with all imperfections. In these moments, we find inner calm beyond life's ups and downs. Picture suffering as an inner storm. Instead of resisting, observe it clearly and allow it to pass, noticing what remains, a softer, more compassionate self able to meet future storms with grace. Surrender releases our tight grip on fear and frustration, creating space for healing. This space offers stillness amid chaos, a serenity independent of outward circumstances. Suffering becomes not the enemy but a door to peacefulness. Over time, embracing suffering as natural transforms how we meet challenges. Difficulties are threads in a bigger tapestry that push us toward new being. Surrendering to the process reveals resistance prolongs pain while acceptance fosters patient passage through discomfort. Transformation arises when we respond wisely, not when defined by pain. This view helps steady us amid storms, easing the path to peace in turmoil, knowing serenity lies beyond resistance. In difficult times, remember suffering is an invitation to find hidden strength. By accepting pain openly, we shed old fears and invite growth. This openness leads to confidence that storms will pass and leave calmness behind. Mindfulness and gentle acceptance transform suffering into a teacher of patience and resilience, guiding us to a heart that embraces life's currents without clinging, flowing along peacefully. Resisting pain versus experiencing it fully. Human instinct drives us to resist pain, rooted deeply in our survival mechanisms. When faced with discomfort, our natural response is to flee or fight, seeking control over the situation. This reaction may seem empowering, protecting us from harm, yet it's often an illusion. The more we resist, the more pain appears to grow, as if it's stretching its claws deeper into our psyche. We cling to distractions and fleeting pleasures, believing that denying suffering will make it go away. But this approach merely keeps us trapped, not free. In resisting pain, we overlook its intrinsic role in our life story. Joy and sorrow are woven into the fabric of existence, shaping who we are. Every moment of resistance creates a cycle of tension, entrapping us in avoidance. The harder we fight, the more reactive we become, to pain and to life itself, deepening its influence and our own suffering. Instead, we can choose to meet pain directly, embracing it as part of our human experience. Experiencing pain fully doesn't mean suffering endlessly but allows us to flow with the natural rhythm of life. When we accept pain, it becomes a teacher, revealing depths of resilience, vulnerability, and presence. By embracing rather than resisting, we forge a bridge that connects us more deeply to ourselves and the moment, whether of joy or sorrow. Full engagement with pain uncovers hidden strengths and fosters mindfulness. We learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without shame or avoidance. Often, pain illuminates the parts of us that need healing, opening new avenues for growth. This acceptance transforms suffering from an enemy into a companion, helping us navigate life's waves with grace and authenticity. In this way, embracing pain enriches our journey, urging us to flow with life's rhythms instead of fighting them. Recognizing pain as an integral part of being human shifts our perspective, from dread to curiosity. When we allow ourselves to feel deeply, pain becomes a signal for growth rather than a threat. This openness can bring clarity, and through full presence, we can move through pain with elegance, emerging stronger, more alive, and more connected to the fullness of life. The wisdom of storms. Chaos cleanses. Life's storms arrive unexpectedly, shaking our foundations and stirring turmoil within. These upheavals test our endurance but also strip away distractions, revealing our true nature, not through grand actions, but via quiet persistence and calm resilience. Storms serve as clarifying mirrors, exposing inner strength and a hidden stillness beneath the chaos, inviting us to discover and embrace it. Often, during difficult times, we feel overwhelmed and grasp for control that isn't there. The storm exposes how much control is illusory and how peace arises from acceptance rather than resistance. Wind and rain may terrify but break down false securities, compelling us to face life on its terms. Turmoil sharpens mind and spirit, dissolves distractions, leaving clarity about what truly matters. Resilience grows not from avoiding storms but standing steady through them with openness. Chaos may appear destructive, dissolving our plans, routines, and beliefs. Yet its true function is clearing space, destroying illusions of permanence and control so new growth can emerge. Like a forest fire consuming dead wood, chaos uproots old, limiting patterns. This shaking is not random suffering but essential transformation. Surrendering to chaos opens us to shed burdens and embark on fresh beginnings. When old structures collapse, disorientation may feel like drifting without anchor. This drift is cleansing, inviting release of attachments and revealing unseen possibilities. Chaos clears comfort but also paves way for deeper clarity and new truths. Growth often happens not in calm but in upheaval that urges rethink, rebuild, and rediscovery. Embracing chaos means trusting destruction as part of the cycle leading back to balance and fresh order. In chaotic times, focus on small, steady anchors: breath, a step, a kind act. These don't quell the storm but help us navigate with inner steadiness. The storm cleanses naturally. Our task is presence, allowing noise to pass, noticing what remains: lighter heart, clearer mind, and fertile ground for new life to flourish. How trust deepens when the water isn't calm. When life erupts in sudden waves and chaos, it often catches us off guard. During these turbulent times, our usual sense of stability dissolves, demanding us to confront the reality that nothing remains fixed. In this turbulence, trust reveals itself in profound ways, not when everything is peaceful, but amid the storm's roar. Rather than relying on calm and order, true trust means leaning into uncertainty. It's like paddling in a wild river. The more the water stirs and roars, the more we recognize the importance of staying balanced. Trust is exercised not by trying to control the storm but by surrendering to the current, believing it will carry us through. The turbulence, instead of being an enemy, becomes a teacher, showing that our strength isn't in evading chaos but in embracing it as a natural part of life's flow. When we accept this, trust becomes a steady heartbeat, anchoring us amidst the swirling waters. In moments of chaos, our reliance on external stability wanes. The storm pushes us to our limits, revealing whether we're willing to let go and trust that things will work out despite appearances. Life becomes a dance, sometimes slow and quiet, sometimes wild and unpredictable. Embracing chaos as an inevitable element of this dance helps trust grow stronger. It's about sensing that beneath apparent disorder, there is a deeper order, an intelligence guiding us even when the waters are turbulent. Trust, then, is not fragile or superficial but resilient and rooted in the understanding that life's unpredictable waters can carry us exactly where we need to go. When water isn't calm, our need for certainty dissolves. We understand that striving for control is an illusion, and instead, we look inward for a steady ground, the kind of trust that is not dependent on external peace. Like a boat sailing stormy seas, trusting in life deepens when we accept the waves instead of fighting them. This trust is rooted not in avoiding trouble, but in believing that we can navigate through it. Such belief becomes our buoy, keeping us afloat despite the swell. Embracing chaos as part of life's rhythm transforms trust from a fragile hope into a resilient core, an awareness that life's unpredictable currents are guiding us towards growth, not chaos. Even the whirlpool belongs to the river. Life flows like an unpredictable river, its currents and depths tossing us in every direction. In chaotic moments, we often cling to the illusion of control, believing we can master the swirling waters. Yet gradually, we see that each turbulent spiral, the whirlpools and eddies, belongs naturally to the river's rhythm. These disruptions are not threats but essential parts of the river's journey, carving paths through obstacles and reminding us that confusion and upheaval contribute to a greater harmony. Understanding this interconnectedness brings freedom. Recognizing control as an illusion, we learn to surrender to life's flow. Like the river forming whirlpools with purpose, every twist and turn holds meaning. Accepting we cannot dictate course or outcome allows us to float gently, trusting life's rhythm. Within chaos lies hidden beauty and order we might not yet perceive. When waters churn, we recall the river's embrace and the balance between turbulence and calm. The whirlpool sparks awe and fear, pulling us into emotional tumult. Yet opening to this experience reveals a quiet stillness beneath the chaos, not escape, but peace within. Like the river's continuous flow, whirlpools are transient, part of life cycles. Embracing these moments transforms struggle into alignment with life's rhythm. Recognizing chaos and calm coexist nurtures resilience and presence. The whirlpool's dance invites patience and steady breath, reminding us we move with a force greater than ourselves. Surrendering to this natural rhythm unlocks insight and growth, unveiling transformation in unexpected ways. Accepting life's ebb and flow, whirlpools alongside serene currents, deepens our understanding of self and world. When caught in life's swirl, remember the stillness beneath. Let go and be carried gently by the river's flow. Chapter 8. Floating Together. Connection as the ultimate surrender. We often believe we are isolated, separate islands, locked in our own minds and bodies, apart from others. This illusion of separation builds barriers, framing life as us versus them. But beneath this lies a deeper truth. We are intricately connected, part of a living whole. As you begin to see yourself not as a distinct entity but as intertwined with others, those dividing walls weaken. Loneliness softens into belonging, and guarded interactions shift into shared moments of presence. Consider the ocean's surface, where waves seem separate but actually rise and fall in synchrony with the whole sea. Our sense of self often mirrors this illusion, overly focused on separateness while missing our fundamental connection. This misunderstanding fuels conflict, misunderstanding, and emotional distance. By gently questioning the I versus you story, empathy and authentic communication unfold. Recognizing boundaries as mental constructs enables greater intimacy, not by changing ourselves but by loosening the grip on isolation. Connection is not loss of self but loosening rigid lines that separate us, revealing shared hopes, fears, and feelings beneath surface differences. When lines blur, others appear less as objects or adversaries and more as reflections of ourselves, a shift opening natural pathways for healing and understanding. This awakening, far from mystical, is a simple perspective available to all. When we glimpse this unity, the world softens, and relationships gain richness and depth. Surrender is often mistaken for giving up, but in connection, it means opening, dropping resistance that traps us in separateness. Embracing unity is becoming part of a flow where self and other blend like notes in a melody. Surrender here means ceasing struggle against life's flow and leaning in, fully experiencing each moment without fear of losing individuality. This way of being invites stepping back from rigid beliefs in isolation and fragility. Instead, life appears as one ongoing unfolding where awareness flows like light through stained glass, distinct hues, yet connected at the source. Surrendering this perspective softens conflicts and judgments, connecting us more deeply to others and the world. Communication becomes honest and effortless, freed from self-defense and open to the whole. Practicing this surrender begins with presence, observing sensations, feelings, and energy exchanges without control or analysis. Notice how thoughts of separation come and go, while a steady awareness links you subtly but surely to all life. Letting go of isolation can feel daunting, but it brings profound relief and freedom. Allowing this flow means participating in life beyond individual story, finding peace in connection itself. Try sitting quietly with someone, without agenda or expectation. Let silence stretch, feel breathing and subtle energy shared, inviting natural unity. This simple practice can dissolve fear-built barriers, demonstrating that surrendering to connection is not loss but deep strength and belonging. Love as the river recognizing itself in another form. Love can be seen as a vast, flowing river that permeates all life, far beyond romantic or fleeting feelings. It connects all beings in a shared current of consciousness, reaching across boundaries just as a river touches distant shores. Within us, this river shapes our experiences and choices, revealing that beneath individual appearances, we are all part of one continuous, harmonious stream. This perspective transforms love from a limited emotion into a dance with life itself, emphasizing participation in a larger flow over possession or attachment. Love becomes the experience of merging with others, recognizing the eternal current that connects all life. In moments of stillness, when thoughts quiet, we feel this boundless connection, not just to another person, but to all living things. Love, like gentle water, moves without obstacles, renewing itself, reminding us that all are expressions of the same infinite source. Recognizing this internal river means seeing through the illusions of separation between self and other, mind and matter, as temporary waves within the ongoing current of existence. In this view, the love felt for another is a mirror of love recognizing itself. That recognition creates a rippling surface reflecting the divine within each of us, showing that beneath apparent divisions, we are various forms of a singular essence. Love then is not a possession but a living movement that discovers itself anew in each encounter. Seeing love as a river's self-recognition unlocks the understanding that human connection is a shared reflection. Truly seeing one another reveals the infinite flow beneath diverse shapes and stories, much like a wave is momentary form within ongoing water. This awareness shifts love from a fleeting feeling to a perpetual understanding, that each person embodies the same foundational reality. As love flows recognizing all its imperfect and varied expressions, it welcomes and embraces without rest, teaching us that connection is inherent, not created. The illusion of loneliness when everything is one flow. The feeling of loneliness often arises from a mistaken belief in separation. From early in life, we are taught to see ourselves as isolated beings, distinct and apart from others and nature. This deeply rooted perception forms the basis of our identity, leading to a sense of disconnection. Yet beneath this illusion lies a profound truth. We are all part of an interconnected web of existence. The very air, sun, and water remind us that life flows as a unified current, binding all beings together. Recognizing this unity invites us to see ourselves as woven into a broader flow of life. Each breath and moment carries universal energy that links us with others. Like droplets merging in a river, nothing in nature stands truly alone. Trees exchange nutrients through roots, and animals rely on each other for survival. We belong to this rich tapestry, with a unique and essential role that contributes to the whole. Embracing interconnectedness helps us reframe loneliness as a temporary feeling rather than a fixed state. Instead of resigning to isolation, we learn to seek out connection, whether through community involvement, conversations, or caring for the environment. These interactions nurture belonging and illuminate our shared humanity. Mindfulness and presence deepen this connection with ourselves and the world. By focusing on simple moments, the rustling of leaves or a child's laughter, we step into the present, shedding the isolation imposed by past regrets or future worries. This awareness fosters gratitude for life and our shared existence. Through such mindful engagement, the illusion of loneliness dissolves, revealing the beauty and joy of being part of the seamless flow of life. Community, empathy, and presence as modern mysticism. True community transcends mere social gathering. It awakens a collective presence where the boundaries between self and other dissolve. In such moments, individuals unite into a shared consciousness, as if many separate lights illuminate one space. This emergent unity connects people not by obligation but through spontaneous recognition of each other's being, creating a living, vibrant whole. This experience surpasses separateness and invites being together with openness and deep attention. Silence, laughter, or shared activities create a space where division fades, and the community becomes a moment of mutual presence and loving connection. Each person is fully present to themselves and others, resonating with a powerful, life-affirming energy like drops converging into a flowing river, unique yet inseparable from the greater whole. Presence in community calls for vulnerability, showing up as we are without masks or roles, fostering trust and honest exchange. This softens feelings of isolation and invites a natural shared rhythm. Genuine empathy goes beyond intellectual understanding or sympathy. It's a mystical thread weaving lives together, revealing our shared essence beneath surface differences. When empathy awakens, the pain, hope, and joy of others flow into our own hearts, collapsing the illusion of separation. This compassionate resonance is like seeing ourselves in a mirror that reflects our whole being. In such moments, the me and you distinction blurs, revealing our interconnectedness and mutual well-being. Empathy becomes a spiritual path, transforming everyday interactions into sacred openings for awakening. Differences dissolve, leaving the profound truth that all life is one continuous, evolving expression. Mindful empathy can be deepened by tuning into bodily sensations during connection. Breath, heartbeats, emotions, engaging fully as part of another's journey rather than as an outside observer. This form of empathy opens doors to healing, understanding, and peace, offering a sense of intimacy and expansiveness simultaneously. You are not in the river, You are the river meeting itself. The river is not an external force flowing somewhere distant from us. It is a living mirror reflecting our own inner life. The boundary we draw between ourselves and the river is a mental construct, an illusion of separation. Just as the river's currents and twists express the flow of life through everything, we too are part of this continuous movement. Like fish swimming within water, we cannot be outside the flow, because we are the flow itself. The other and the self dissolve into a seamless, ongoing dance. This idea resembles looking into a mirror that reveals your face but is never separate from it. When we cling to the notion of separateness, we feel isolated and struggle against the current of life. But seeing the river as an extension of ourselves dissolves that illusion. Recognizing our face in the mirror invites us to let go of the perceived boundary between self and world, allowing the river's natural rhythm to harmonize with our inner experience. Living with this awareness softens loneliness and nurtures a profound sense of unity. Understanding the river as part of ourselves inspires compassion, patience, and acceptance, revealing that divisions are temporary shadows cast by thoughts and beliefs. The river flows not against us but through us, bearing a living message. We are part of the dance of endless life. When we recognize the river in ourselves and ourselves in the river, every moment becomes an opportunity to experience connection to a vast whole beyond individual ego. The small self is recognized as a transient wave on a boundless current. As the illusion of separateness loosens, a deeper sight emerges. We move from being fixed observers to experiencing ourselves as the flow itself, ever-changing yet inseparable from its source. Sitting quietly, listening, we find reassurance in belonging to infinite movement. We meet the river not as a single drop but as the full current flowing across space and time. No effort is needed to become one with the river, for we already are. The individual self softens, revealing a broader identity encompassing all. This awakening happens through stillness and awareness, not mental exertion. When we release the separate self, we float with the current, no longer resisting but flowing naturally. The river's movement gently reminds us that life is not to be conquered or controlled but embraced. By witnessing thoughts, emotions, and sensations as passing phenomena within spacious presence, the illusion of separation falls away, revealing our effortless unity with the endless stream of life. Adopting this perspective brings ease and acceptance in daily living. Forgetting the isolated self nurtures resilience and patience, as we ride the river's waves instead of battling them. Recognizing the perceived boundary as a transient idea clarifies the larger truth. You are the flowing river itself, always meeting itself in every present moment, forever embraced by its vast, gentle current. Chapter 9. Death and the Sea. Death as the rivers return to the ocean. Death is often perceived as a definitive end, a closing chapter that halts all movement. Yet, through the metaphor of nature, death is better understood as a return, a river flowing into the vast, boundless ocean. Like a river, our life journey carries memories, experiences, and lessons within each drop. When the river meets the ocean, it doesn't cease to exist. It merges, gaining belonging to a greater whole. Similarly, our consciousness does not vanish at death but becomes part of something infinite and expansive. This view shifts death from finality to transformation, seeing life as a continuous flow of interconnected energies. The river surrenders its individual identity to the ocean but gains profound unity and depth. Clinging to separate identity can create friction against this flow. Embracing our belonging to the larger whole brings peace and acceptance. Just as the river trusts its path to the ocean, we learn to trust the unfolding of our own journey towards ultimate unity. Surrender means welcoming change and the unknown. Like a river's winding course, life's complexities can provoke resistance and fear. Yet, by aligning with life's rhythm, we find freedom. We discover we need not struggle against the current but instead can trust to be carried, embracing the flow toward the vastness beyond individual self. Why the end terrifies us, and why it shouldn't. The fear of endings is deeply embedded in the human psyche because it confronts the unknown. From early awareness, we grasp the passage of time and the inevitability of change, with death, or any ending, representing something beyond control and final. This finality clashes with our desire for permanence, compelling us to cling tightly to life, identity, and relationships with the hope of enduring forever in some form. Faced with endings, our minds spiral into uncertainty, speculating about what, if anything, lies beyond, or fearing total oblivion. Our fear also arises because endings interrupt our personal narratives. Life feels like a meaningful story we want to continue indefinitely. The end threatens to erase that meaning, making it seem like a loss of both life and purpose. The mystery of what comes next intensifies resistance, much like the fear of darkness when visibility disappears. Since endings are silent and unseen, they become blank spaces onto which we project anxieties and doubts. This instinct helps us survive by avoiding danger and sustaining life, yet it blinds us to the natural beauty and continuity within endings. Reframing death and endings as transformations rather than stops offers relief. In nature, nothing ends without fostering new beginnings. Leaves fall, enriching soil for new growth. Rivers flow into oceans and evaporate into rain, continuously shifting shape but never truly ending. Viewing endings this way dissolves their sting, revealing them as part of a grand cycle. Surrendering to this ongoing flow means letting go of fixed identities and accepting perennial change, fostering peace not by resisting fate but by embracing life's perpetual motion. This recognition brings quiet freedom, reminding us that self and life are facets of a larger, often unseen whole. Accepting death as natural transformation inspires fuller presence and appreciation of the now, lessening fear tied to the inevitable. This acceptance is not indifference but a trustful engagement with existence. Endings become portals, inviting experiencing life without clinging or fear. Practically, easing end fear involves focusing more on presence than control. Mindfulness practices or simple observation of inner flow develop comfort with impermanence and change. Familiarity with life's rhythms softens fear, especially when reflecting on prior endings that led to fresh opportunities. Recognizing endings as seeds for renewal encourages gentle wisdom, easing fear's grip and revealing life's continuous ebb and flow. The continuity of consciousness and the illusion of finality. The fear of death often stems from seeing it as an absolute ending, a sharp cut in our personal story, when in reality, consciousness may flow continuously like a river merging with the ocean. Instead of a flickering torch going out, awareness can be seen as a stream that shifts and changes but never truly ceases. Even when the body stops functioning, aspects of consciousness might persist in ways beyond current understanding, challenging the belief in finality that stems more from fear than nature's true flow. Viewing death as a transformation rather than an end allows us to see it as a shift or passage from one state of experience to another. Reports from near-death experiences suggest awareness can continue beyond the physical senses, hinting that the boundary of death is shaped by our limited perception. Accepting this continuity helps reframe death as part of a larger process where consciousness changes form without disappearing. This perspective encourages questioning rigid views of endings. Consciousness as ongoing flow means death becomes a returning wave, blending back into an expansive ocean rather than a final disappearance. By seeing ourselves as part of this infinite movement, fear diminishes and is replaced by trust and participation in a greater rhythm. Life and death blur not as opposites but as successive expressions of one perpetual process that moves fluidly through time and space. Our awareness mirrors the ocean's timeless, boundless nature, ever shifting, never static. Each wave is temporary, but the ocean endures. Similarly, our sense of self is like a wave, a transient shape within the vast current of consciousness. Releasing clinging to permanence opens us to live as fluid moments flowing together, easing fear of finality. Life and death become natural expressions of the same ever-changing movement. Embracing this view fosters an inner sense of continuity, where the origin and destination of awareness remain mysterious but trusted. Living less in resistance to loss and more in harmony with change transforms fear into peaceful flow. Death ceases to be a wall and becomes one wave in an eternal tide, allowing us to see our true nature as part of an endless, boundless sea of awareness. Practicing this awareness means observing the constant fluctuations of thoughts, feelings, and sensations as an invitation to recognize consciousness's continuous movement. This practice loosens fear's grip, encouraging living with spaciousness, freedom, and a profound trust in transformation. When we accept that awareness is never finished but perpetually unfolding, each moment shines as part of an infinite dance, inviting us to fully engage without fear of loss. To die before you die. The secret of all enlightenment. Life often feels like a journey of solitude, where we perceive ourselves as isolated entities battling against the currents of existence. This sense of loneliness arises from the illusion of separateness, blinding us to the underlying truth that we are part of an interconnected cosmic dance. Our identities, roles, and fears build walls around us, obscuring the seamless fabric of life that unites us all. The fear of death, seen as the ultimate end and source of sorrow, reflects this separation. Yet, true awakening begins when we shift perspective to see death not as a stoppage, but as an essential part of life's flow. Embracing death as a natural transformation frees us from fears and attachments, inviting us to experience each moment as a precious gift. This acceptance nurtures surrender, not giving up, but trusting the deeper rhythm beyond control. Letting go of control opens us to life's richness. In surrender, life's currents carry us gently, and death becomes part of the dance that sustains life's flourishing. This recognition brings clarity and gratitude, deepening our engagement with existence. Moments of true aliveness often arise from vulnerability, presence, and authenticity, where we exist without defenses and open fully to connection and experience. The secret of enlightenment is to die before you die, to relinquish the ego's grip and dissolve the illusion of separateness while still living fully. This spiritual death reveals the ongoing flow of life within and around us, allowing us to flow gracefully with impermanence. Trusting this process invites unexpected joy, freedom, and profound awakening as we move with the endless current of existence. When you stop resisting the sea, you discover you've been saltwater all along. Resistance is a barrier that hides our true nature. Fighting life's currents creates tension, discomfort, and separates us from our essence. This struggle isn't only triggered by hardships, it's woven into how we confront life itself, clinging to control, fearing change and loss. Yet life is like a vast, ever-moving ocean, fluid, relentless, and renewing. Our suffering comes from opposing this flow, denying the natural rhythm at the core of all existence. Our fears of death, failure, and loss are just reflections of resistance. We imagine a solid ground beneath us but are actually adrift on shifting waves. The tighter we hold onto permanence, the more we lose touch with the flowing current within. This fight feels like battling the tide, futile and draining, because we forget our true essence. The sea is not an adversary but home. The saltwater ocean mirrors the life and death flowing through every cell. Loosening resistance reveals that we have always been part of this endless tide. Surrender means allowing the current to carry us instead of pushing back. This isn't passivity but relaxing into life's natural flow. When we relinquish control and prediction, anxiety eases. Surrender brings inner peace and awareness of interconnectedness. Beneath chaos lies deep unity, where life, death, growth, and decay move harmoniously. This unity is like saltwater connecting every drop, flowing continuously through all we are and will become. This acceptance holds quiet power. It shows resistance was never needed because we were never apart from the flow. We are the sea even as we move within it. Every fear and attempt to hold back waves forgets that our bodies and experiences contain this same saltwater essence. Thoughts, feelings, and sensations participate in the fluid dance. When resistance ceases, boundaries dissolve, and life becomes a current gently guiding us forward. Surrender lets us navigate existence's tides, rooted not in fixed ground but in flowing connection. Letting go of resistance opens the door to a richer experience. Joy, pain, sorrow, and pleasure become waves washing over us, not storms to fear or fight. This fluid living connects us more deeply to all beings. With resistance diminished, saltwater becomes a symbol of belonging, reminding us that we are not isolated drops but part of an ocean without edges. This truth transforms each moment, inviting curiosity and trust over control. The sea doesn't require us to understand its depths. It calls us to presence flowing through us. To practice surrender, tune into your body's rhythms. Deep breathing and feeling the chest rise and fall reconnects you to inner ebb and flow. When tension arises, perceive it as waves rather than walls, creating room for acceptance. Cultivating still moments of observation without judgment loosens resistance. Over time, this helps you move with life more like the sea, flexible, open, and attuned to the tides shaping all existence. Epilogue, floating home. The spiritual journey isn't about escape but remembrance. Life's spiritual journey is not about fleeing or finding something new beyond ourselves. Rather, it is about remembering what has always existed beneath our stories, identities, and masks. Like a river that has flowed long before we noticed, this current gently guides us back to our true nature, our essential being that is not separate from life's endless flow. Many pursue spiritual paths searching for transformation or escape, but what they are truly seeking is remembrance, awakening to the awareness that we are not our fluctuating thoughts, feelings, or roles. Recognizing the steady movement of this river within us fosters trust. We realize we have been carried all along without resistance, and surrendering to this flow frees us from control and struggle, opening us into natural harmony with life's movement. Remembrance isn't recalling something lost, but unknowing the false self we have mistaken for me. It unfolds like gentle awakening from deep sleep, through quiet awareness rather than effort. As illusions dissolve, the peaceful, unchanging presence beneath all stories reveals itself. This recognition is a soft surrender to what already exists inside. Looking deeper, we see our sense of separation is born from identifying with transient thoughts and labels, obscuring our unified nature. The art of remembrance is habitually returning to spacious presence here and now. Life ceases to be a problem needing fixing and becomes a playground of endless awareness, always accessible and present. This gentle turning inward requires no extraordinary act, only letting go of superfluous thought and noticing what has always been present. Practicing remembrance can be as simple as pausing, breathing, and acknowledging the unshakable stillness beneath life's noise. Slowing down to listen inwardly reveals that the spiritual path is already complete, nothing more needs adding. Our true task is awakening to what's always true. We are not traveling away from ourselves, but remembering we are already free. In this remembrance, life's questions soften, unveiling a quiet openness waiting patiently to be seen. The moment you realize, there's nowhere to go. Life often feels like we are in control, steering a car along a vast, open road. The more we cling to this illusion of mastery, the heavier the burden, like carrying an invisible weight that gets oppressively thick. It's as though we are navigating a maze with no clear exit, continually searching for a way out. Yet, when we recognize this illusion, a profound peace emerges. Surrendering to the natural flow of life reveals there was nowhere to go all along. There is an inherent rhythm, a pulse of existence, that we often forget because we are too busy trying to direct the song instead of simply listening to its melody. Releasing the need for control opens us to the beauty surrounding us. It doesn't mean forsaking choices or goals, but approaching them lightly, with a gentle touch. We become more present, attentive to life unfolding moment by moment, much like a stream flowing effortlessly past rocks and bends. In this awareness, we realize that life is not happening only to us but through us, and this understanding fosters deep tranquility. With each breath, each experience, there is a quiet acknowledgement that everything is already here, awaiting our recognition. The pursuit of a destination can seem exhilarating but often spirals into frustration. The belief that happiness lies in the future traps us in a cycle of longing and disappointment. When we accept that there is truly nowhere to go, we release this endless chase and instead immerse ourselves fully in the present. Every moment becomes an opportunity to savor life's richness, whether simple or profound. Conversations, feelings, and thoughts are no longer mere stepping stones towards some distant goal but are alive in their own right, beckoning us to embrace them. This liberation in letting go encourages an appreciation for every step of the journey. It shifts ambition from a relentless chase to a curious exploration of what each day offers. There's a subtle grace in relaxing into the flow, trusting that life will carry us exactly where we need to be. In doing so, we find ourselves free to experience the beauty of now, without the burden of unnecessary striving, and with a heart open to whatever unfolds. Stillness, laughter, and grace as the ultimate enlightenment. Stillness is not merely the absence of noise or movement, it is the vast, timeless space where time pauses and distractions fade away. Like a river whose surface ripples and waves yet hides a deep, calm current beneath, stillness is the enduring foundation beneath life's unrest. Embracing stillness allows the mind to rest and the heart to settle, expanding awareness beyond thought, revealing the infinite presence within flowing moments. Stillness is always present, waiting beneath the clamor of everyday life. Often mistaken for emptiness or passivity, it is, in fact, a vibrant, living state that supports movement without being disturbed. Observing our thoughts and worries as surface waves, we find the unchanging awareness beneath, a quiet center in us that remains whole despite change. This awareness is not distant but the peaceful core within. To experience stillness, slow down and observe gently without control or judgment. Moments of quiet sitting, mindful breathing, or noting the gaps between thoughts open a window to this calm. In this presence, the river of life ceases to feel like an external force and instead becomes a current we naturally exist within. Stillness invites us to be fully here, not passive observers but living presence in which all phenomena arise and recede. Laughter and grace emerge naturally from this deep stillness, especially in life's challenging moments. They express freedom beyond striving and tension. Laughter arises not just from humor but as joyful recognition of life's playful, unpredictable flow. Grace flows effortlessly as kindness and ease when judgment and resistance fall away. Together, they offer a light-hearted and peaceful way to engage with the world. Spontaneous laughter and gentle grace soften heaviness and open the heart. Laughter breaks through seriousness, reminding us not to take ourselves too seriously, while grace allows us to face challenges with poise and softness. These expressions appear when the mind relaxes its grip and the spirit flows with life. As laughter and grace become familiar companions, uncertainties shift from threats into invitations. Obstacles may reveal a quiet humor or beauty that eases resistance. This doesn't negate pain but encourages meeting it with an open, steady heart. Laughter and grace reveal enlightenment as freedom arising from letting go rather than control, trusting life's deeper currents beneath restless waves. Practically, cultivate this openness by allowing laughter at life's absurdities and messiness. Notice moments the body wants to smile or chuckle and permit yourself this lightness. Let grace guide you towards gentleness, patience, and openness over harshness or judgment. These small shifts nurture the quiet heart of enlightenment in daily living, reminding that ultimate freedom is present here and now, shimmering through stillness, laughter, and grace. The art of floating is not a skill. It's remembering you were never drowning. Many people think floating is a technical skill to master, but it's actually about releasing the false story that we are struggling or drowning. This struggle arises from the illusion of being separate from life's flow, a narrative especially strong in distress. Deep down, however, there's a core recognition. We were never truly sinking. We are inherently part of the current supporting us. The feeling of drowning is born from disconnect, a sense of isolation amid chaotic waves. Forgetting that we are built to move and adapt with this flow turns challenges into perceived failures. Remembering that floating means trust and alignment changes everything. Life's currents are already holding us. We only need to release resistance and surrender gently. Seeing yourself as an extension of the flow makes floating effortless. Instead of forcefully staying afloat, you relax into the water, like a leaf drifting downstream. This surrender is not passivity but awakening to natural openness. Trusting the current reduces the urge to control each moment, transforming floating into a natural state rather than a learned skill. With this trust comes freedom. When resisting stops, waves lift rather than toss us. Life carries us if we allow it. Abundance and support are always present beneath the surface struggle. Floating becomes a way of living, a reminder that we rest in trust and presence as part of the whole. Floating is no longer an achievement but a remembrance of our true nature. A practical exercise to cultivate this is noticing tension and instead of pushing through, softening focus and breathing gently. Imagine the water supporting you and trust your flow will carry you. Over time, this practice expands beyond water to daily life, revealing that surrender, not effort, is the key to effortless movement. This journey through the endless currents of life, flow, surrender, and presence comes to a gentle close, not with a final conclusion, but as an open invitation. The river speaks a timeless message. You are not apart from its current. You are the river itself, constantly moving, changing, yet ever whole. Life's questions dissolve into the quiet, knowing that beneath all waves, there lies a calm depth, untouched and infinite. As you close this book, carry with you the practice of flowing with life's rhythms, embracing the dance of chaos and grace. Remember that every moment is an opportunity to surrender, to breathe, and to open into the vastness within and around you. The path is not about arriving somewhere else but awakening to the present flow, your true home. May you walk this living river with ease, curiosity, and trust, forever carried onward by the endless, beautiful dance of existence. Thank you for journeying through these pages and for trusting this exploration of life's flowing currents. Every word, reflection, and pause in this book was written in the hope that, even for a moment, you would remember the ease and belonging already within you. As you set the book down, may you carry with you a gentle awareness, a readiness to meet each new day with openness, presence, and kindness. Remember that you are never apart from the river of life, and that stillness, laughter, and grace are always within reach. This is not an ending, but a quiet beginning. The current invites you onward, softly, confidently, and always home. Thank you for allowing these words to flow alongside yours. May you drift easily, and may all your moments be touched by gentle wisdom and deep peace.